Chapter 901. Evolution can indeed be explained by science. A portion of an evolved being's abilities can be explained as well. However, many abilities can't be explained from a scientific point of view. However, there are traces of them, replied Pei Yucheng. All right then. Lin Yan sighed. The world was really full of wonders. She couldn't use common sense to look at evolved beings. Pei Yucheng glanced at Lin Yan and explained, an evolved being's abilities can be roughly divided into two types, the evolution of mental strength and the evolution of the body. The evolution of the body is mainly to greatly improve the quality of the body, while the evolution of mental strength is to evolve the brain. Pei Yucheng chuckled when he saw the confusion on Lin Yan's face. Do you think it's very complicated? Lin Yan pondered it for a moment before she replied, it's quite complicated, but can you understand it this way? It's like a game character. An evolved being with mental strength is a sorcerer, while an evolved being with a physical body is an assassin. Pei Yucheng was taken aback when he heard Lin Yan. After some thought, Pei Yucheng replied, I've never played a game before, but I should be able to understand it this way. I understand now. Lin Yan was enlightened. That was why the man who could control animals had evolved his brain and evolved his mental strength. That was why he couldn't take a beating. She was an evolved being with a physical body, just like an assassin. If she fought a sorcerer in close combat, it would be like a father beating his son. What would happen if one's mental strength evolved or their body evolved to the limit? Lin Yan was curious. It's very difficult. Pei Yucheng shook his head. The stronger the ability and the higher the level of evolution, the greater the risk one faces. Their body might not be able to withstand the pressure, and they might have a mental breakdown. If it's serious, they might die. If they're lucky, their evolution and abilities will regress. Lin Yan hadn't expected a high-level evolved being to face such a risk. What if they get through this hurdle? Asked Lin Yan. It's almost impossible. I've never heard of it before, replied Pei Yucheng. I mean if, hypothetically, replied Lin Yan. I don't know either. Pei Yucheng pondered this for a moment before shaking his head. Lin Yan was speechless. Like I said before, you can listen to the world and control yourself completely. You're no different from a god. However, I don't know exactly what it is like, Pei Yucheng added. Lin Yan could understand this. After all, this was all theoretical. It seemed like no evolved being had reached that stage. Hence, no one dared to guarantee anything. Oh right. Lin Yan studied him curiously. Are you a mental or physical evolved being? What level are you at? Lin Yan had always been very curious about Pei Yucheng. Based on her previous understanding of him, she felt that he should be an evolved being with a high level. I want to know. Pei Yucheng grinned. Yes. Lin Yan nodded hastily. In the past, she wouldn't have asked too much about Pei Yucheng. However, she couldn't help but want to know more now. Perhaps, I'm about the same as you. Pei Yucheng grinned. Lin Yan was speechless. Even if he didn't want to tell her, there was no need to be so perfunctory. He was about the same as her. At most, she was an assassin who had just left the beginner's village. Perhaps, she hadn't even left the beginner's village. Lin Yan really didn't believe that Pei Yucheng was about the same as her. Chapter 902. Lin Yan had a rough understanding of the levels and classifications of evolved beings. However, it was just a general idea. Lin Yan didn't have a specific concept of the ABCDFS that Pei Yucheng had mentioned. For example, how strong was an S and a class? What was the concept of a C or F class? Lin Yan believed that her fists were heavy, so logically speaking, she should be very strong. What level was she at? No matter what, Lin Yan felt that Pei Yucheng's ability and level had to be much higher than hers. Mr. Pei, could you be a Class SSS evolved being? Lin Yan's eyes widened as she stared at Pei Yucheng curiously. SSS. Pei Yucheng's eyes turned gentle as he glanced at Lin Yan with a smile. Class SSS is just a legend. In this world, no one can confirm if evolved beings above Class S exist. Huh? Lin Yan was startled by Pei Yucheng's words. Did Pei Yucheng mean that there might not be any evolved beings above Class S in this world? Was he telling the truth or was he just trying to brush her off? Since there was a concept of class, why had it never appeared? Mr. Pei, human evolution has existed since ancient times. Up until now, there hasn't been an evolved being above Class S. Aren't those connate evolved beings very powerful? Why can't they achieve it? Lin Yan voiced her doubts. Pei Yucheng nodded and chuckled. I don't know if there has been a Class S or above since ancient times, but there are all sorts of strange things in this world. Perhaps there has been, but people don't know about it. Of course, as I said earlier, as the level of evolution increases, the risks that evolved beings face will multiply. Perhaps there really are extraordinary geniuses, but most of them can't withstand the pressure of evolution. It's common for their abilities to degenerate or die tragically, Pei Yucheng explained. Lin Yan was speechless. After hearing Pei Yucheng's words, Lin Yan suddenly felt that she didn't want to be an evolved being anymore. That was too tragic. If I had such a day, what would I do? Lin Yan sighed. Pei Yucheng grinned. Girls nowadays are afraid of growing muscles after going to the gym for a few days. Lin Yan stared at him intently. Who are you looking down on? I'm very strong too. I was being humble earlier. I think I'm at least a Class A now. At the very least, I'm a Class B evolved being. Do you believe me? I will, Pei Yucheng answered after some thought. Lin Yan was speechless. Will it? It will? What was the meaning of this? What level do you think I am now? Lin Yan stared at Pei Yucheng. Do you want to hear the truth or a lie? Pei Yucheng grinned. Tell me a lie first. Lin Yan pondered for a moment before she replied. Then you should be SSS, replied Pei Yucheng. Lin Yan replied, that's indeed a lie. If I were SSS, wouldn't I be all-powerful? All the evolved beings would have to cozy up to me and call me boss. Almost, Pei Yucheng replied. Will you cozy up to me? Lin Yan snorted. Yes. Pei Yucheng chuckled softly. Then, I'll kick down all the evolved beings who are clinging to you. Lin Yan was speechless. All right, I've heard the lie. I want to hear the truth, replied Lin Yan. If you're telling the truth, you should be a Class F. Pei Yucheng looked serious. End of this chapter. Chapter 903. F. Class? The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. That was why she was an evolved being of the lowest level. She was a lowly Class F evolved being. Couldn't he give her some dignity and tell the truth? Men were indeed all big pig trotters. However, on second thought, so what if she was a Class F? The previous few waves of people sent by the Hunters Guild to capture her had been beaten to a pulp by her. They had knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. Even the mysterious man who could control beasts had been sent flying by her punch. Even if she was a Class F, she would definitely be a Class F evolved being with great potential. Perhaps she would skip a grade one day and jump straight to Class A. Lin Yan was about to say something when Xing Chen's voice rang out. Brother, you. Come in, replied Pei Yucheng. A second later, Xing Chen pushed the door open and walked in. Lin Yan instinctively sized Xing Chen up as though she was deep in thought. Xing Chen and the others who accompanied Pei Yucheng were probably evolved beings. However, Lin Yan was very curious about their evolution levels and abilities. Lin Yan had never seen the evolved abilities of Xing Chen and the others. Would it be as interesting as magic? Unfortunately, she was a physical evolved being, not a spiritual evolved being. She didn't have any special and magical abilities. Lin Yan was envious of the man who could control beasts. If she had that ability, she wouldn't need to pet cats in the future. She could pet lions, tigers, bears, elephants, and killer whales every day. That feeling would definitely be better than petting cats and dogs. Lin Yan couldn't help but sigh. Such a powerful evolved being was actually possessed by that kind of person. This world was really unfair. She was a delicate girl. How could she become a physical evolved being? Her fists were so hard that she could kill a person with one punch. How crude and cruel. Lin Yan blushed at the thought of this. Alright, she wasn't that delicate. Speak. Pei Yucheng spoke when he saw Xing Chen standing there silently. Xing Chen instinctively glanced at Lin Yan. She's here. Who's here? Lin Yan asked curiously. Sister is here, Xing Chen replied softly. What are you talking about? Lin Yan was confused. Miss, is here to look for brother Yu. Xing Chen lowered his head. Lin Yan stared blankly at Xing Chen before turning to Pei Yucheng. Miss? Pei Yucheng's eyes trailed to Xing Chen as he said expressionlessly, speak normally. It's that. Brother Yu, Miss Rong is here. Xing Chen gritted his teeth helplessly. He hadn't said anything earlier because he was afraid that Lin Yan would misunderstand. Xing Chen had already hinted to Pei Yucheng several times, but Pei Yucheng's attention had been entirely focused on Lin Yan. As a man, wasn't his hint obvious enough? Shouldn't he understand instantly? Pei Yucheng studied Xing Chen thoughtfully when he heard her say Miss Rong. Xing Chen felt a chill run down his spine. It wasn't his fault at all. He hesitated for a long time and did not say it out loud. He had already done his best. Miss Rong. Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yucheng thoughtfully. Mr. Pei, your guest is here. Why aren't you greeting him? Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yucheng. End of this chapter. Chapter 904. Xing Chen broke out in cold sweat when he saw Lin Yan's expression. Big sister, please don't, Miss Lin, please don't be angry. This is what happened. Xing Chen hurriedly explained to Lin Yan. Angry? Lin Yan glanced at Xing Chen. Who said that I'm angry? How can you tell that I'm angry? Do I look angry? Xing Chen was speechless. The word like was removed, and the only thing missing was the words, I'm very unhappy, written on his forehead. Let's go and meet the guest, Pei Yucheng told Lin Yan gently. Lin Yan shook her head. I'm not going. I don't want to disturb your conversation. Miss Lin, you've misunderstood. Although Miss Rong likes brother Yu, before Xing Chen could finish his sentence, Pei Yucheng shot him a cold glare. Indeed, Lin Yan's expression changed when she heard the latter half of Xing Chen's sentence. Oh? How much do you like him? Lin Yan grinned. Xing Chen was speechless. He was there to deliver a message, not to go to the execution ground. If he really couldn't do it, he should just give him a quick death. You haven't told me how much you like him. Lin Yan pressed on when Xing Chen remained silent. Xing Chen looked awkward as he glanced at Pei Yucheng. Miss Lin is asking you a question. Why are you looking at me? Pei Yucheng replied calmly. Then what should I say? Xing Chen turned to Pei Yucheng cautiously with a bitter expression on his face. Tell me the truth, replied Pei Yucheng. Xing Chen was speechless. If he had known that this would happen, he would have asked Qin Huan to deliver the message. Why did he have to deliver the message? Since Pei Yucheng wanted him to tell the truth, Xing Chen had no choice but to reply helplessly. Miss Rong is very infatuated with brother Yu. Lin Yan grinned at Pei Yucheng. Suddenly, a thought flashed across her mind. Infatuated with Pei Yucheng? Could that pervert be Miss Rong? Let's go eat together. Let's see how infatuated that lady is with me. Pei Yucheng grinned and held Lin Yan's hand. Lin Yan was speechless. He hadn't even said anything, yet he wanted to leave. He even wanted to show her how infatuated Miss Rong was with him. Shameful. If you find her an eyesore, Pei Yucheng told Xing Chen, make her leave. Brother Yu, that's the eldest daughter of the Tang family. Xing Chen was startled. Was he going to drive Tang Rong away just like that? He didn't look like he was joking, so Xing Chen nodded and did as he was told. Wait. Suddenly, Lin Yan said, you're a guest, so you have to show some respect. It wouldn't be nice to chase you away. I was just joking. Go ahead and eat. If this is your decision, sure, replied Pei Yucheng. However, you have to show respect to the guests. Why? Lin Yan was puzzled. Because you're the owner of this place. Pei Yucheng grinned at Lin Yan. Lin Yan was speechless. She pondered this for some time before she raised her head. I can go, but I'm not doing it out of respect or to keep an eye on you. I'm hungry. Mistress is hungry, Pei Yucheng replied. Xing Chen stared at Pei Yucheng in astonishment. Was this the brother Yu he knew? Indeed, spring nights were short, and the sun had to rise high. From then on, the king wouldn't attend morning court. Lin Yan whispered to Pei Yucheng, go ahead then. I have something to ask Xing Chen. I'll be there in a while. End of this chapter. Chapter 905. When she saw that Xing Chen was about to leave, she pulled him back. Don't go. Lin Yan glared at Xing Chen. Miss Lin, this has nothing to do with me. Brother Yu and Miss Tang Rong really have nothing to do with each other. Miss Tang Rong. I'm just a messenger. You don't have to go that far, right? Xing Chen frowned. What had he done wrong? If he really couldn't do it, she would give him a quick death. I wasn't talking about that, replied Lin Yan. Then. Xing Chen was puzzled. What's your level? Lin Yan inched closer to Xing Chen curiously. Level. Xing Chen fell into deep thought. He whipped out his phone and opened a game. Stubborn bronze, bronze? Lin Yan sneered coldly. Scumbag, I'll carry you. I'm the king, Lin Yan, who was taken aback, frowned. Who asked you about the game? I'm asking you what level you are. Miss Lin, I'm really stubborn. I'm bad at playing. I can't go up. Xing Chen sighed heavily. Lin Yan was speechless. I'll ask again and you'll answer me again. What level are you? Lin Yan glanced at Xing Chen seriously. Miss Lin, I see. I know that you like to play games, so I instinctively assumed that you were asking about the game. Xing Chen explained. Cut the crap. What level are you at? Asked Lin Yan. I'm not sure. I haven't tested it before, but it should be fine, replied Xing Chen. Lin Yan was speechless. She had thought that Pei Yucheng would be perfunctory enough, but Xing Chen was 100 times more perfunctory than him. How could an evolved being not know what level he was at? Of course, she was an exception. Let's spar then. Lin Yan grinned. Xing Chen looked conflicted. Miss Lin, don't make things difficult for me. I wouldn't dare. If brother Yu finds out, I'll be dead. How would he know if you and I don't tell him? Lin Yan frowned. Well, I wouldn't dare to. What if I hurt you? Xing Chen hesitated. Then, did you evolve physically or spiritually? asked Lin Yan. Physically. Xing Chen replied. Lin Yan sighed in disappointment. She had thought that Xing Chen would be a spiritual evolved being. She hadn't expected that he would be a physical evolved being like her. Miss Lin, that's not called physical evolution. It's called genetic evolution. Spiritual evolution is called brain evolution. Genetic evolution strengthens the body, while brain evolution strengthens the spiritual ability and special evolution abilities, Xing Chen explained. The meaning is similar, replied Lin Yan. Pei Yucheng's explanation was easier to understand. It's more or less the same. I think this is more orthodox, Xing Chen said. Xing Chen added, Miss Lin, if you want to know what level you are, you can use a professional instrument to test it. However, we don't have such an instrument here, so there is another way. What is it? Asked Lin Yan curiously. Hit me a few times and I'll test it out, Xing Chen said with a smile. Are you serious? Lin Yan glanced at Xing Chen in shock. Yes, it's fine. Xing Chen nodded. Lin Yan replied, Xing Chen, I'm afraid that I'll kill you. Xing Chen replied, Miss Lin, don't worry. It's fine. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. Are you looking down on my fist? Let me tell you, I can smash your teeth with one punch. Let's see how you will eat lollipops in the future. End of this chapter. Hadn't she promised him that she would help him destroy all the people who threatened him in the Pei family and help him inherit everything in the Pei family? No, to be exact, the demoness had either disappeared or died a long time ago. How could a dead person appear alive? Are you really Brother Yucheng's girlfriend? Pei Zhe asked tentatively. Lin Yan was startled when she heard that. Pei Yucheng's cousin was so polite. They should be of the same generation. How could he address her as sir? Thank you, cute babies, for your birthday wishes. I've seen your comments, your videos, and your avatars that you purposely changed. I love you guys so much. After writing for so many years, my greatest happiness is that you guys are always by my side. I also hope that my adorable girls will always be happy and blissful. You guys are the sweetest and the warmest. End of this chapter. Chapter 907. Lin Yan studied Pei Zhe thoughtfully. She had a nagging feeling that Pei Zhe was looking at her strangely. She could even see a hint of disbelief and bewilderment in his eyes. However, on the surface, Pei Zhe appeared calm. Was it a slip of the tongue? Before Lin Yan could speak, Tang Rong chuckled softly. It's only been a few days since we last met, but Brother Yucheng already has a girlfriend. No wonder we haven't been contacting each other as often as before. Not as often as before? Lin Yan muttered softly. Did that mean that they had been contacting each other frequently? It was as though the surrounding air had turned colder. There was a brief silence for 2 seconds. Miss Lin, Brother Yu is on official business. He didn't contact you because of personal matters. Xing Chen whispered softly. Lin Yan remained expressionless as she studied Tang Rong discreetly. She suspected that this woman might be the pervert who had possessed her. Oh yeah, Brother Yucheng. Why didn't you tell me that you have a girlfriend? Even Pei Zhe didn't know about it. Didn't you tell the Pei family? Tang Rong sat at the dining table and rested her chin on her hands as she grinned at Pei Yucheng. Lin Yan was furious when she heard this, but she couldn't flare up. She had underestimated this pervert. His lines were not simple. Every sentence seemed to be ordinary, as if he was talking about family trivia, but there was a hidden meaning behind each of his words. Didn't Tang Rong mean that Pei Yucheng had a girlfriend and hadn't told anyone about it? Did she mean that he had a mistress? Pei Yucheng was about to speak when Lin Yan smiled and said, Yucheng and I have been very busy and didn't have much time. We happened to be free recently, but it's a coincidence that you guys are here today. Hence, I accompanied Yucheng to get to know everyone. Tang Rong's smile deepened when she heard Lin Yan. Pei Yucheng was a little surprised as well. He silently recalled the girl's words. Cold sweat broke out on Xing Chen's forehead. This was really a battle between experts. Tang Rong had just said that Pei Yucheng hadn't mentioned his girlfriend to anyone, but Lin Yan had immediately attacked her. Hadn't he mentioned it today? He had even brought his girlfriend to eat with his cousin. Xing Chen couldn't help but sigh. This was truly a war without smoke. Miss Lin, nice to meet you. My name is Tang Rong. I grew up with brother Yucheng. Sorry, it's not appropriate for me to say this in front of you. After all, you are brother Yucheng's friend. Tang Rong extended her hand to Lin Yan. Lin Yan smiled and shook Tang Rong's hand. She replied casually, it's common to have childhood sweethearts, but it's a pity that it's rare for them to be together. Tang Rong's smile did not diminish. Well, what Miss Lin said makes sense. Miss Lin, since you're brother Yucheng's girlfriend, you're my friend. If you need anything, you can tell me at any time. Tang Rong gazed at Lin Yan and chuckled softly. Xing Chen, who was standing beside Lin Yan, kept stealing glances at her from the corner of his eyes. He had to endure it. Even Xing Chen couldn't help but admire Tang Rong's eloquence and the meaning behind her words. In an instant, it seemed as though Lin Yan had become the guest. Lin Yan gritted her teeth and glared at Pei Yucheng. Then, she smiled at Tang Rong and said, Miss Tang, don't say that. Miss Tang and Yucheng have known each other since they were young. You're like Yucheng's sister and my sister. How could I let my sister take care of my sister? Miss Tang, on the other hand, if you need anything, you can tell me. The servants in this villa are very insensible, so outsiders might not be able to order them around. Chapter 908. The smile on Tang Rong's face remained the same. She said slowly, Miss Lin, what you said makes sense. However, a servant will always be a servant. If she doesn't do a good job, she can be replaced at any time. Miss Lin, what do you think? The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. Was she referring to herself? Pei Yucheng could change girlfriends at any time, and Cloud Manor could change its mistress at any time. Lin Yan composed herself and grinned. That might not be true. I have 2 cats and dogs. They bit my servants. Guess what happened, Miss Tang? Tang Rong nodded. I'd like to hear the details. I haven't fed them for 2 days, so they are obedient now. They don't dare bite anyone anymore. Lin Yan grinned. Tang Rong's eyes glinted coldly when she heard Lin Yan. Xing Chen wanted to laugh, but he didn't dare. What Lin Yan meant was that Tang Rong was that cat and dog. She shouldn't bite anyone, or she would be punished. That was too cruel. Miss Lin is right, Tang Rong said after some time. Brother Yucheng, these dishes are delicious. They are all my favorites. Did you specially prepare them for me? Tang Rong gazed at Pei Yucheng tenderly as she spoke softly. Before Pei Yucheng could reply, Lin Yan grinned. So these are all Miss Tang's favorites. What a coincidence. Miss Tang's tastes are the same as mine. Awesome. Xing Chen was in awe of Lin Yan. Even a fool could understand Lin Yan's words. Pei Yucheng prepared these for me. As for you, it was just a coincidence. I see. I can tell that brother Yucheng is very attentive. I've been with him for so many years, but I've rarely seen him so attentive. Tang Rong nodded and grinned. Yeah, just like some of my friends. I've known them for so many years, but they don't even know what I like. However, it's understandable. After all, they are just passers-by in my life. Lin Yan grinned. Xing Chen's face turned red. Lin Yan was implying that even though she had been with Pei Yucheng for so many years, she was just an insignificant passerby. How could she be compared to her? Tang Rong gazed at Lin Yan intently. Lin Yan grinned at Tang Rong as well. Their eyes met like meteorites colliding before they parted. Xing Chen knew that Lin Yan had won this round. He had always thought that Lin Yan was straightforward and brainless. Today, he realized that he had been wrong. Who said that straightforward people were brainless? After all, they were women. In a war between women, they could lose their lives without seeing blood. It was too terrifying. Right now, star-sinking gazed at Lin Yan. She had the aura of the East Palace Master, as though everyone beneath her was an ant. Tang Rong stared at Lin Yan for a few seconds before she smiled and took a sip of her tea. Tang Rong turned to Pei Yucheng and said casually, "Brother Yucheng, I've been worried about you all these years. Back then, you were the most famous genius of the Pei family, but you were exiled here because of a girl. Fortunately, you have a new girlfriend. You should have completely let it go." Lin Yan's expression changed slightly when she heard Tang Rong. There was too much information in her words. Pei Yucheng had once been the most important descendant of the Pei family, yet he had been exiled here because of a girl? What girl? Ex-girlfriend? Chapter 909. At the same time, Pei Yutong and Pei Nanshu, who had been about to enter, stopped at the entrance and watched the entire battle between Lin Yan and Tang Rong. Miss Tang Rong wasn't a simple character. They were worried that Lin Yan would be bullied and suffer, so they had come to support her. They hadn't expected Lin Yan to be so powerful. They hadn't had a chance to attack at all. Lin Yan, who had wanted to break up with Big Brother, didn't seem to care about Big Brother at all. The two of them were so frightened by the terrifying atmosphere that they didn't dare make a sound. Their expressions changed when they heard Tang Rong's words. Pei Yutong was so shocked that he dropped his car keys with a loud thud. Lin Yan sized Pei Yucheng up quietly, feeling puzzled. However, Lin Yan remained expressionless on the surface, so no one could tell what was on her mind. Pei Yutong and Pei Nanshu looked at each other in astonishment when they heard Tang Rong. If Tang Rong hadn't said it today, they wouldn't have known about this. Big Brother had an ex-girlfriend? Although they were part of the Pei family, they hadn't been with Big Brother Yucheng since they were young. When they were very young, Pei Nanshu and Pei Yucheng had been sent away from the Pei family and sent to Cloud Manor. It was only when they grew up that they met Big Brother Yucheng. At that time, Pei Yucheng had also come to Cloud Manor. They had asked many questions about the Pei family, but Pei Yucheng had never told them anything. It was only when they grew up that Pei Yucheng and Pei Nanshu learned a little about the Pei family. He only knew that the Pei family was a powerful family, and they had extremely high requirements for their descendants. They were also very strict. The two of them had been sent away from the Pei family's headquarters because they weren't outstanding enough. Pei Nanshu and Pei Yutong didn't quite understand. They had been sent away when they were young. Could the Pei family have known if they were outstanding enough when they were born? A few years ago, the two of them had gone to the Pei family's headquarters and seen some people they shouldn't have seen. Then, they had learned about the existence of evolved beings. Hence, the two of them suspected that the Pei family was related to evolved beings. If the Pei family was an evolver family, and the two of them were just ordinary people, unable to become evolvers, it was only natural that they were sent away. Besides, after spending so many years with Pei Yucheng, how could he not understand how extraordinary he was? Pei Yucheng was definitely not an ordinary person. He was most likely an evolved being. Although they knew this, they had never mentioned it. Naturally, Pei Yucheng didn't hide anything from them. If they didn't ask, Pei Yucheng wouldn't say anything. That was all. Brother Yucheng was the most outstanding evolved being of the Pei family. He was also the designated heir of the Pei family. Brother Yucheng even studied in an extremely mysterious sacred ground. No one in the Pei family has such honor. If it weren't for that girl, Brother Yucheng wouldn't have ended up like this, Tang Rong added. On the other hand, Pei Yucheng's expression didn't change at all. Pei Nanxiu and Pei Yucheng looked as though they had expected this. They weren't too surprised. They had long guessed that the Pei family had something to do with evolvers, and now they had just received further confirmation. Cousin Yucheng, no one in the Pei family could compare to him. Pei Zhe smiled and said, however, because of that girl, he had a mental breakdown and even went against the Pei family's wishes several times. He left home alone to search for that girl. After a long time, he was completely abandoned. The elders of the Pei family were furious, so my cousin was exiled to this place. Chapter 9-10. Pei Zhe's voice piqued Lin Yan's curiosity. Who was the girl that Pei Zhe and Miss Rong were talking about? What kind of place was that mysterious sacred ground? Where had Pei Yucheng studied before? Could there be schools for evolved beings? Soon, Lin Yan composed herself. No matter who that girl was or whether she was Pei Yucheng's ex-girlfriend, White Moonlight, she couldn't lose her composure now. Otherwise, she would fall into Miss Rong's trap. Besides, there didn't seem to be anything to lose her composure. After all, it was a matter of the past. Although she understood the logic, for some reason, Lin Yan felt a little uncomfortable. Pei Yucheng had gone against the Pei family's wishes for that girl and caused himself to be exiled. Pei Zhe had also said that it was because of that girl that Pei Yucheng had abandoned himself. Lin Yan guessed that the so-called abandonment here was probably due to his slacking on the abilities of evolved beings. Pei Yucheng and Pei Nanxiu exchanged a glance. They had never heard of Pei Yucheng's past. This was the first time they had heard about it. What kind of girl could make Big Brother like this? The two brothers didn't dare imagine it. Just now, Miss Lin said that childhood sweethearts are common, but it's rare to see them together. However, Brother Yucheng and that girl are true childhood sweethearts. I'm ashamed of my inferiority. I think Brother Yucheng has given all his love to that girl. Of course, these are the purest and most simple feelings from childhood. Miss Lin, I don't think you'll mind. Tang Rong glanced at Lin Yan and smiled. Lin Yan naturally knew what Tang Rong was up to. Seeing that she couldn't provoke her, she wanted to use that as an excuse to attack her. Lin Yan smiled faintly. In one's life, one will always meet two people. One stuns time, and the other is gentle. Just as Lin Yan was about to say something, Pei Yucheng suddenly turned to Lin Yan. The corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. You're the one who stuns time and the gentle years. Everyone was stunned by Pei Yucheng's words, including Lin Yan. Pei Nanxiu and Pei Yutong exchanged a look. They hadn't expected their big brother to be so good at coaxing people. However, he was afraid that it would not be so easy to coax him this time. Previously, they had sworn to Lin Yan that Big Brother had never had another woman by his side. In the end, one of them was his childhood sweetheart, while the other was his childhood friend. The matter of the affair had not been resolved, and out of nowhere, his childhood sweetheart, Miss Rong, had appeared. Miss Rong was still in dire straits, and now there was an innocent White Moonlight. Tang Rong, who hadn't expected this response from Pei Yucheng, was startled. She glared at Lin Yan coldly. However, on the surface, he still smiled and said, I'm young and inexperienced, so I can't take it seriously. Miss Lin is really lucky. She had initially planned to use that person to suppress this arrogant woman. After all, everyone knew how important that person was to Pei Yucheng. However, she had been wrong about his attitude. Cousin, I'm here to eat, not to eat dog food. Pei Zhe grinned at Pei Yucheng. Since I'm full, I'll leave first. Alright, Pei Yucheng replied. End of chapter. Chapter 9-11. Brother Yucheng, I'll head back first. Thank you for your hospitality today. Tang Rong didn't linger. She had already said what she needed to say. Even though Pei Yucheng's attitude had been impeccable, she didn't believe that Lin Yan wouldn't mind at all. A man like Pei Yucheng hated jealous women the most. After Pei Zhe and Tang Rong left, Pei Yutong was the first to slip away. Brother, sister-in-law, I won't disturb the two of you anymore. I'm leaving too. After saying that, he picked up a drumstick on the table and ran away. Pei Nanxiu and Xing Chen had witnessed Lin Yan's calm before the storm, so they didn't dare linger any longer. After bidding farewell, they left as well. After everyone left, only Lin Yan and Pei Yucheng were left in the room. Pei Yucheng stroked the girl's hair. Is the food not to your liking? You didn't eat much just now. Shall I cook for you? Lin Yan was still sulking and couldn't reply immediately. When she snapped back to her senses, Pei Yucheng had already put on his apron and gone to the kitchen to cook. Lin Yan was even angrier when she saw Pei Yucheng enter the kitchen. She almost spat out a mouthful of blood. How could he torture his girlfriend like this? Pei Yucheng quickly prepared 3 dishes and a soup. The two of them sat down at the dining table. Lin Yan had been silent all this while. At that moment, she took a deep breath and the anger that she had suppressed finally burst out. She stared at Pei Yucheng and enunciated each word clearly. Childhood sweetheart, indeed, she couldn't avoid it. Pei Yucheng's hand paused as he helped Lin Yan. He coughed softly and explained, we just knew each other since we were young. Lin Yan snorted coldly. Childhood sweetheart? Pei Yucheng paused for a second before he gazed at the girl gently. There's no childhood sweetheart or childhood sweetheart. There's only you. Actually, Lin Yan knew very well that even if Pei Yucheng had a childhood sweetheart and childhood sweetheart, she had no right to ask. After all, that was in the past. However, where was that close confidant? Are you sure it's just an acquaintance and not a close relationship? Regardless of whether she had the right to ask, Lin Yan didn't beat around the bush. If we weren't close, how could she know your password and enter Cloud Manor freely? She could even imitate your signature to the extent that even JM Corporation couldn't verify it. Autograph? At first, Pei Yucheng had only had some doubts, but now, he was certain. Due to the urgency of the situation, he hadn't had the time to think too much and had used Lin Yan's body. He had assumed that Lin Yan was in a deep slumber, but it seemed like that wasn't the case. Lin Yan must have found out about what he had done that day. However, she hadn't suspected him. Instead, she had come up with a strange theory. What did she think? She thought that there was a woman beside him who had an unusual relationship with him, and that it was that woman who had taken control of her body. And he had deliberately hidden the existence of such a confidant from her? Pei Yucheng was speechless. If he didn't tell her the truth, she would continue to misunderstand. However, if he told her the truth, for the first time in his life, he was caught in a dilemma. Chapter 9-12. Pei Yucheng pinched his eyebrows. Miss Lin, other than you and me, I won't allow anyone to enter Cloud Manor or my study. No one can imitate my handwriting. Besides, given JM Corporation's professionalism, it's impossible that they can't verify the authenticity of my handwriting. Hence, the woman you're talking about doesn't exist. Pei Yucheng's words were equivalent to giving Lin Yan the answer. However, the problem was that Lin Yan couldn't possibly suspect him. Who would have thought that Pei Yucheng would be so cunning? Lin Yan didn't know how to explain herself, but she was certain that she had seen it with her own eyes. There was no mistake. She was certain that if Pei Yucheng denied it, he would be lying. Pei Yucheng's last sentence made sense. It was something that had puzzled her before. It was impossible that JM Corporation couldn't verify the authenticity of his handwriting. However, the problem was that she had confirmed it repeatedly. She had even called Cheng Mo to verify it. What was impossible to happen had happened. If Pei Yucheng wasn't up to something, why would he lie to her? Lin Yan pondered this for a long time before she asked, then, have you ever taught your childhood sweetheart or your childhood sweetheart how to cook? Pei Yucheng asked, cook? Lin Yan nodded solemnly. Yeah. I know a woman who has inherited your cooking skills. Her taste is exactly the same as yours. Didn't you teach her? Pei Yucheng's recipes were absolutely unique. If he hadn't taught her personally, how could anyone else in this world cook like him? Pei Yucheng, who hadn't expected Lin Yan to notice this, replied, I haven't taught anyone how to cook. Of course, if you want to learn, I can teach you. Lin Yan almost coughed out a mouthful of blood when she heard him. She hurriedly reached out to stop him. You don't have to. Was she crazy? Why would she want to learn cooking from Pei Yucheng? Lin Yan calmed herself down before she added, Mr. Pei, I'm going to say this again. Perhaps you should think carefully about who the woman you like is. Otherwise, you might be in love with the wrong person. How could Pei Yucheng possibly like her? Had he seen the shadow of another woman through her? After all, the few times she had interacted with him had been when she had been possessed by that pervert. Pei Yucheng was speechless. The man's eyes were like stars in the deep sea, quietly watching her. After a long while, the man finally said, Miss Lin, can I also ask a question? Lin Yan replied sternly, ask away. Pei Yucheng's eyes glinted. I remember that Miss Lin told me that you have a close friend. The reason she's with her boyfriend isn't because she likes him. She's just putting on an act for some special reason. At that time, your best friend was very conflicted about whether or not to tell her boyfriend about it, right? Lin Yan's heart skipped a beat. She had indeed told Pei Yucheng about this, but the best friend she had been referring to was herself. Of course, she wouldn't dare say the truth to provoke Pei Yucheng. Hence, she wanted to use the excuse of being his best friend to find out more about him. She still remembered Pei Yucheng's reply. End of chapter. Chapter 9:13. He had said, the difference between acting and never seeing each other again is that the former will last longer. He had also said, if you lie to me, you will lie to me forever. She remembered very clearly that Pei Yucheng had answered her question in the first person. This meant that Pei Yucheng had most likely discovered that she wasn't talking about her best friend. She was talking about herself. Why had Pei Yucheng suddenly brought this up again? Lin Yan glanced at the man who was waiting for her reply and nodded. I did. What's wrong? Pei Yucheng pretended to be nonchalant as he picked up some food for Lin Yan. Miss Lin, you should remember that I told you that it was just an act. There's another possibility, which is to turn it into reality. Pei Yucheng paused for a moment. Under Lin Yan's suspicious gaze, he said calmly, Miss Lin, may I ask if your best friend has turned the act into reality? Otherwise, why would she care about the women around me? Why would she get angry over this time and time again? The moment Pei Yucheng finished speaking, Lin Yan's mind exploded like fireworks. Pei Yucheng most likely knew that she was referring to herself. Hence, he was basically asking. What are you talking about? Did you turn the act into reality? Lin Yan, have you fallen in love with me? All this while, Lin Yan had automatically ignored this question. She had only been caught off guard when Pei Yucheng had asked her this question. Why? Why was she so angry? Why was she angry because of the women around Pei Yucheng? At that moment, Pei Yucheng's expression was as calm and composed as ever. However, his tense back and the way he gripped the bowl and chopsticks revealed his thoughts. He waited quietly for the girl's answer. It had only been a few seconds, but it felt as though several long nights had passed. The ear-piercing sound of a chair scraping against the floor was heard. Lin Yan bolted to her feet and replied resolutely, My best friend said that her acting skills have improved. After saying that, he slipped into his room like a wisp of smoke. Pei Yucheng was speechless, the man's eyes narrowed, and a dangerous glint flashed across his glasses. It seemed like this girl would never tell the truth in front of him. Lin Yan scrambled into the house as though she had been chased by a ghost. She patted her chest in fear. Oh my God! She was scared to death. This man was too scary. His interrogation methods were simply heaven-defying. In the beginning, she was clearly the one asking him questions. In the end, the situation inexplicably reversed, and she became the one being interrogated? Was there any justice in this world? Fortunately, she reacted quickly and ran away quickly. Lin Yan, who was worried, scurried to the door and locked it carefully. That would be safe, turning the act into reality? What a joke! How could this be? Was she a person without principles? Lin Yan locked the door and turned to enter the house. Unexpectedly, the moment she turned around, a familiar feeling assaulted her. Her vision went black, and in the next second, it was as if her soul was pulled out of her body, and she lost control of it. Lin Yan instantly realized what was going on. Shit! This fox spirit actually dared to appear. Chapter 9:14. Vixen. Pei Yucheng's consciousness had just woken up from Lin Yan's body when he heard the girl's indignant voice. The culprit had finally appeared. Lin Yan was furious. Who the hell are you? What's your relationship with Pei Yucheng? What do you want to do to him? Pei Yucheng strode over to the desk and sat down. Miss Lin, you don't have the right to question me. His tone infuriated Lin Yan even more. I don't have the right to question you. Not only did you occupy my body, but you also have ulterior motives toward my man. I don't have the right to question you. Pei Yucheng picked up an 8 trigrams mirror and replied calmly, if I remember correctly, I was the one who wooed this man. It has nothing to do with you. Lin Yan yelled, you. This time, Lin Yan was completely enraged. If she had been in her own body, she would have flipped the table in anger. However, she couldn't refute this fellow's words. Pei Yucheng put down the 8 trigrams mirror and glanced at the girl in the mirror. He seemed to be looking at her through her eyes. Miss Lin, I hope that you will watch your words. He isn't yours. Even if I want to do anything to him, it has nothing to do with you. Lin Yan was speechless. Pei Yucheng lowered his eyes and chuckled softly. Besides, Miss Lin, you have been putting on an act all this while, haven't you? The man's nonchalant, provocative tone had finally infuriated Lin Yan. Lin Yan's consciousness exploded in her mind. Are you just fooling around? Big sister, haven't you heard of the 4 words fake, real, and acting? In the mirror, the girl's expression seemed to go blank for a moment. She was stunned, as though she hadn't expected the girl's answer at all. At that moment, Pei Yucheng couldn't think straight. He even suspected that he had heard wrongly. Acting for real, he hadn't expected that Lin Yan would give him the answer that he had racked his brains for, but he hadn't been able to get it out of her. Lin Yan pressed on. He isn't mine. It has nothing to do with me. Stop joking around. You used my body to woo someone. If he wasn't my man, could he be yours? If you weren't the one who chased after him, then who else could you have chased after? How do you know that he isn't interested in my beauty and talent? Pei Yucheng might even be my crazy admirer and die-hard fan. Perhaps you chose to use my body to get close to him because you knew about this. Now, you even dare to shamelessly declare your sovereignty in front of me. I should be the one asking you, what qualifications do you have? A vixen who doesn't even dare to show her face and uses my body to chase someone. Pei Yucheng was speechless. He couldn't be blamed for being surprised. Lin Yan would never say something like that in front of him. It was impossible for him to be so honest. Pei Yucheng coughed softly. What did you say? Turning the act into reality. Pei Yucheng asked, as though he wanted to confirm it. Chapter 9:15. I'm a third party. Lin Yan was fuming with rage. Are you kidding me? What do you mean I'm a third party? You're not related to Pei Yucheng. Although Lin Yan said that, this was indeed the thing that bothered her the most. She hadn't taken the initiative to get close to Pei Yucheng. It had been this vixen. She was also worried that, the person Pei Yucheng really liked, was actually this vixen. Lin Yan gritted her teeth and sneered coldly. Even if you're the one who wooed this man, so what? Is that impressive? If I were to do it myself, I would be able to woo him in 10 seconds. Pei Yucheng replied, Oh. If you were to do it yourself. Lin Yan's blood boiled when she heard his provocative tone. You don't believe me, right? Let's make a bet then. If I do it, you're not allowed to control my body anymore. Pei Yucheng concealed the gentleness in his voice and said coldly, What if you lose? Lin Yan snorted. Lose? The word lose doesn't exist in my dictionary. Pei Yucheng chuckled softly. Miss Lin, perhaps your dictionary is pirated? Lin Yan yelled, You. Ah. Why was this vixen so annoying? Damn it. She had to woo Pei Yucheng personally. The overwhelming anger bombarded Lin Yan. There was a buzzing sound, and an electric current seemed to flash. A second later, her vision turned black. When she opened her eyes again, she was back in her own body. She was back. It was probably because he was too angry. This time, he actually relied on his own willpower to forcibly regain control of his body. The moment she returned to her body, Lin Yan propped herself up with both hands on the desk. Then, she slammed the door and stormed out. Her eyes darted to the living room before she strode in Pei Yucheng's direction. Meanwhile, Pei Yucheng's consciousness had just been squeezed out by Lin Yan and he had just woken up. As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw the girl rushing towards him like a little fireball. Lin Yan strode over to Pei Yucheng. Just as he was about to straighten up, she grabbed his collar and pressed him back down. She propped one hand on the back of the couch and hissed, Pei Yucheng. Let's break up. Pei Yucheng's pupils constricted. Before his eyes could turn cold, he was cut off in shock. Because in the next second, he heard the girl continue to say, Break up. I want to catch up again. Pei Yucheng was speechless. Lin Yan, who seemed unhappy with the man's absent-mindedness, snapped, Did you hear me? 2 of the buttons on the man's collar had been torn off by her. At this moment, it was loose, revealing his exquisite collarbone and a small part of his chest. His clothes were also wrinkled, and his entire body was pressed against the back of the sofa by her. At a glance, he simply looked like a seductive demon. Pei Yucheng glanced at the girl and raised his wrist slightly. His eyes landed on the watch on his wrist. Lin Yan was displeased when she saw that Pei Yucheng was staring at his watch. What are you looking at? Pei Yucheng remained silent as he continued to stare at the second hand on his watch. 10, 9, 7, 6. Chapter 9:16. Pei Yucheng waited until the second hand had ticked 10 times before he raised his head and gazed at the girl. 10 seconds. All right, you've caught up with her now. Lin Yan was speechless. What? What was going on? 10 seconds, how had Pei Yucheng known? Lin Yan asked, You caught up with her? He had caught up with her just like that. Pei Yucheng was still in the position where the girl had pressed her knees against the sofa. He merely shifted slightly and changed into a more comfortable position. Then, to prevent the girl from losing her balance, he stretched out a hand to support her waist. The man replied in a low, hoarse voice, "Yeah, I'm Miss Lin's crazy admirer and die-hard fan. I'm infatuated with your beauty and talent." Lin Yan was speechless. At that moment, Lin Yan's brain had stopped working. How? How did you know? She had communicated these words to the vixen in her head, so no one else could know about them. How could Pei Yucheng know every single word she had said? Lin Yan's brain couldn't process what was happening. However, at this moment, the man in front of her continued to speak with that mesmerizing face. "So, Miss Lin, did you really turn the act into reality?" Lin Yan was speechless. Lin Yan's brain had crashed. She struggled to come up with a possibility that she couldn't believe. Pei Yucheng. You, Pei Yucheng had said that the woman couldn't possibly exist. No one could enter Pei Yucheng's personal space at will, and no one could know the password to Pei Yucheng's equipment. It was impossible for anyone to imitate Pei Yucheng's signature. Such a woman couldn't exist in this world. Then, unless this person was Pei Yucheng himself. After living for more than 20 years, this was the first time Lin Yan felt as though her worldview had been destroyed. Lin Yan couldn't even look at Pei Yucheng's face. After some time, she finally regained her ability to speak. "Don't tell me, that pervert, that vixen, that consciousness that possessed my body, was you." Pei Yucheng coughed softly as his fingers caressed the girl's waist. After 3 seconds of silence, he said, "It was me." Lin Yan was speechless. 3, see, shake, shatter, no, more, like, this. That lecture. She wasn't a woman who admired or had an intimate relationship with Pei Yucheng. It was Pei Yucheng himself. This answer seemed so shocking that it was unimaginable, but it was also very reasonable. All the strange and unreasonable things that had happened during this period of time had a reasonable explanation. So, it was all her fault for not having enough imagination. She had never thought that the truth would be like this. "Mr. Pei. Are you joking?" Lin Yan couldn't believe it. In order to avoid any further misunderstandings, he had no choice but to tell her the truth. "The consciousness attached to your body is indeed me." Lin Yan stared at the man before her, at a loss for words. After some time, Lin Yan said in a daze, So when we were at the hospital, you were the one who took advantage of yourself and claimed that you were paying my rent?" Chapter 9:17. Pei Yucheng nodded. "Yes. After all, I did occupy your body." Lin Yan swallowed her saliva and pressed on. "So, you were the one who accidentally fell on you when you barged into Cloud Manor?" Pei Yucheng coughed softly. "Yeah. I wanted to see you, but you didn't look for me." Lin Yan quipped, "Were you the one who sent the message to yourself?" Pei Yucheng stroked Lin Yan's waist. "We've been dating for so long, but you've never asked to go on a date with me." Lin Yan was speechless. So this was her fault? Lin Yan inhaled deeply and glared at him. "You used my card to buy a birthday present for yourself and used my body to cook for you." Pei Yucheng glanced at the girl. "You forgot about my birthday. Because you forgot my birthday, so I can only use this method to celebrate my own birthday." Lin Yan's eyes met the man's shimmering eyes, which were filled with disappointment. She couldn't help but feel guilty. Damn it. She was the one who had questioned him. How had it become his accusation? Pei Yucheng was telling the truth, but what kind of trick was this? How could he flirt with a girl like this? She was stunned by Pei Yucheng's actions. Lin Yan gritted her teeth. "That's why. Just now in the room, you possessed me. From the beginning to the end, you were deliberately provoking me and provoking me. Yes. Pei Yucheng admitted it without hesitation. If that wasn't the case, would you have told me the truth? Lin Yan was speechless. Damn it. Pei Yucheng's tricks had been the longest path she had taken in her life. Although she was infuriated by Pei Yucheng's actions, her anger was extinguished by the disappointment in Pei Yucheng's eyes. Lin Yan massaged her temples to calm herself down. When did it start? Pei Yucheng didn't dare hide anything. Actually, I can't remember it clearly. When I could stay conscious in your body, it was probably after you broke up with Han Yishuan, heir. Lin Yan could sense that his tone had turned cold when he mentioned Han Yishuan's name. His grip on her waist tightened as well. Lin Yan seemed to have recalled something as she asked, "Were you the one who invited Mr. Pei to Lin Shuya's birthday party?" Although Pei Yucheng and Pei Nanxiu had explained the reason to her, everything seemed illogical now that she thought about it. "I can't go myself. I can only ask Nanxiu to support you," Pei Yucheng replied. Lin Yan was speechless. It was really him. No wonder. It was no wonder that Pei Nanxiu had been so respectful towards her. I remember once when I was near my grandpa's house, I met a stuttering man who fell into the sea and was being chased. The people who were chasing him accidentally found out that I was an evolver and wanted to capture me. At that time, I couldn't beat those people at all. I suddenly lost consciousness in the middle of the fight. When I woke up, those people had already run away. When I saw them again, they were very afraid of me, as if they had seen a ghost. Later on, I found half a cigarette butt in my pocket. I don't smoke at all, so how could there be a cigarette on me? Did you save me that time? Chapter 9:18. The more Lin Yan spoke, the clearer her memory became. Many things that she hadn't been able to figure out seemed to have been explained. Pei Yucheng nodded. Perhaps it sensed that you were in danger, so it attached itself to you. Lin Yan was speechless. How could that be? Lin Yan's heart skipped a beat as she listened to his confession. That day. You were the one who took me to the hospital for an injection. She was very afraid of injections and did not want to go to the hospital, but the consciousness took her to the hospital. Because it was not her consciousness at that time, she did not feel the fear of the injection at all. No wonder he could always accurately tell where her body was uncomfortable. He knew that her leg hurt, so he took her to the hospital for an injection. Knowing that she was on her period, he cooked brown sugar water for her. Maybe because I'm sick, my body has some problems, and my consciousness often goes to find you uncontrollably. It's not my intention. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have lied to you. Pei Yucheng didn't dare continue. He wasn't confident that Lin Yan would react if she knew the truth. However, if he hadn't used this method, he wouldn't have had the chance to understand her. He did not dare to approach her again. Lin Yan ran her fingers through her hair in frustration. But why? Why did you do that? Initially, she had assumed that the pervert was flirting with Pei Yucheng. However, the tables had turned. Pei Yucheng was the one flirting with her. Why was Pei Yucheng putting in so much effort? Pei Yucheng chuckled softly. I already answered you. Lin Yan was taken aback. What had he said? He is her crazy admirer and brainless fan, infatuated with her beauty and talent? Isn't this bullsh*t? Lin Yan's face darkened. I was just spouting nonsense, but I'm serious. Pei Yucheng gazed at her solemnly. Lin Yan was speechless, as if I'd believe you. Was Pei Yucheng her crazy admirer or her die-hard fan? Pei Yucheng might be blind, but he wouldn't be able to do that even if he was retarded. She couldn't believe that the consciousness that had possessed her was Pei Yucheng. Lin Yan inhaled deeply. Let's talk about something first. That consciousness was really you. Are you sure? Pei Yucheng nodded. Lin Yan replied, I still can't believe it. This is unbelievable. Pei Yucheng asked patiently, what do you want me to do? Lin Yan raised her head and glared at him. Now. Pei Yucheng was speechless. When Lin Yan realized what she had said, she blushed and scrambled to reply, no. I mean, on my body. I just feel that it's too unbelievable. I can't believe it. Can your consciousness try possessing your body now? Not only was he in disbelief, but he was also curious. Pei Yucheng chuckled softly. I can't control that. Isn't this one of your evolved abilities? Lin Yan was puzzled. Pei Yucheng explained, I can indeed control some creatures, but I can't control humans with my consciousness. As for why I can possess your body, I'm not sure. All I know is that every time Pei Yucheng paused. Lin Yan asked, what did you do every time? Pei Yucheng replied, every time I miss you, my consciousness will possess you. Chapter 919. Lin Yan was speechless. Pei Yucheng gazed at her quietly. Perhaps our souls are naturally compatible. Lin Yan glared at the man before her. Why was he flirting with her? So you can't possess me now? Lin Yan changed the topic. Should I give it a try? Pei Yucheng wasn't sure. Oh. Lin Yan nodded and glanced at him nervously. What do I need to do then? Pei Yucheng pondered this for a moment before he said, why don't you kiss me? Lin Yan was speechless. Why didn't you kiss me when you possessed me? Pei Yucheng chuckled softly. I didn't need to possess you. I just wanted to. Lin Yan was speechless. Pei Yucheng stroked the girl's head. I won't tease you anymore. I might not succeed if I try. Oh. Okay. Lin Yan waited nervously. Just relax a little. If you don't reject me and are willing to accept me, it might be easier, Pei Yucheng said. Got it. I'll try my best. Lin Yan nodded. Pei Yucheng closed his eyes. After waiting for about 10 seconds or so, a familiar feeling surfaced. Lin Yan's consciousness was suspended in the air. Indeed, she couldn't control her body. At the same time, she saw Pei Yucheng's body leaning limply to the side. Pei Yucheng. Are you? Lin Yan asked nervously. Pei Yucheng replied, it's me. Lin Yan heard her own voice. It was Pei Yucheng's voice. Lin Yan was completely stunned after experiencing it once. It was really Pei Yucheng. Why hadn't she realized this before? Almost every time she was possessed, Pei Yucheng would be in a state of slumber. At that moment, Lin Yan was completely convinced of the truth. This was simply too heaven-defying. Besides, what privacy did she have? When Pei Yucheng had possessed her, he would have been able to read her mind if she hadn't tried to suppress it. Lin Yan said unhappily, Pei Yucheng, this is the last time. In the future, you can't possess me again. You can't do it for any reason. Pei Yucheng looked helpless. I can't control it. You have to. Can't I have some privacy? Lin Yan yelled angrily. Pei Yucheng grinned. All right, unless you ask me, I won't possess you. Lin Yan was speechless. Ask me? How could that be possible? She would never allow Pei Yucheng to have sex with her again. Was she crazy? When can you leave? Lin Yan tried to chase him away. Pei Yucheng replied, it won't last long. We should wait for a while more. Lin Yan replied unhappily, oh. Don't I have the right to decide? If you feel strongly against me, you will be. However, this will consume a lot of your mental energy. Don't try it easily, replied Pei Yucheng. Lin Yan had no choice but to wait for him to leave. Yen, Lin, you, I. He. Yen, Li, she. Cheng, I. Cheng. I. She. Yen, as they conversed, Lin Yan suddenly heard a gurgling sound. It seemed to be coming from her body. What's that sound? Chapter 920. Pei Yucheng lowered his head to glance at Lin Yan's stomach. You didn't eat anything tonight. You must be hungry. Pei Yucheng walked to the dining table. Do you want to eat something? Lin Yan muttered inwardly to herself. How convenient was it that he could take her place when she was eating? Pei Yucheng was worried that Lin Yan would be in a bad mood. Hence, he picked up the bowl and helped her eat. Lin Yan was distracted, so she didn't notice it. By the time she realized it, it was too late. Ah. Don't eat it. She couldn't eat it. Pei Yucheng was using her body now, so she had a sense of taste. Besides, her sense of taste was quite sharp. However, it was too late. She could only watch as Pei Yucheng picked up some food and ate it. A second later, Pei Yucheng's face turned ghastly pale. Ahem, Pei Yucheng swiftly pulled the trash can aside and spat out the food. Then, he quickly poured himself a glass of water. Are you okay? Lin Yan had accidentally allowed Pei Yucheng to taste his dark cuisine. She looked at him sympathetically. She had never expected that Pei Yucheng would have such a day. Is the lettuce spoiled? Pei Yucheng asked solemnly, as though he was blaming the buyer for his incompetence. Lin Yan twitched as she replied, it has nothing to do with the lettuce wouldn't take the blame. It's your amazing cooking skills. Pei Yucheng could tell that something was amiss in Lin Yan's tone. He seemed to have thought of something as he stared at the dishes on the table. Then, he picked up another dish of sweet and sour pork. A second later, he spat it out. Then, scrambled eggs with tomatoes, egg rolls with white truffle, Crucian carp soup. After tasting every dish he had cooked, Pei Yucheng finally discovered the truth that everyone had been hiding for years. His dark cuisine had been exposed. He didn't have a sense of taste, and no one had the heart to expose him. Hence, he had never known what his dishes tasted like. The dining table fell silent for a long time. Pei Yucheng didn't speak for a long time. Lin Yan felt a little awkward. Pei Yucheng, are you alright? Do you need to drink more water? Lin Yan was worried when she suddenly felt a soul-sublime taste in her mouth. Lin Yan finally realized what was going on. She was back. Lin Yan had been caught off guard. She hurriedly picked up the glass of water and gulped it down to ease the horrible taste in her mouth. What kind of sin did she commit? After drinking the water, she glanced at the couch and saw that Pei Yucheng was awake. The man slowly sat up and did not move for a long time. There seemed to be a dark cloud above his head. Suddenly finding out the truth must have been a huge blow, right? Lin Yan swallowed her saliva and didn't dare disturb him. She walked over carefully and scratched her head. Don't be too upset. After all, you can't taste it. Pei Yucheng stretched out his hand and stared at the girl intently. A second later, he grabbed her hand and pulled her onto his lap. He tightened his arms around her and pulled her into his embrace. Lin Yan jumped in fright. What? What are you doing? His warm breath caressed her sensitive ears. Lin Yan, admit it, end of chapter. Chapter 921. Lin Yan asked, huh? Admit what? Pei Yucheng quipped, admit that your act became real. Admit that, you like me. Lin Yan was speechless. The moment Pei Yucheng said that, Lin Yan held her breath. It was as though all the air in the world had been sucked out of her. Her heartbeat was so loud that it filled her eardrums. Pei Yucheng didn't give her a chance to refute him. He chuckled softly and whispered in her ear, "Otherwise, how could you eat my food without batting an eyelid?" Lin Yan was speechless. She really didn't expect that she would be so exposed. Lin Yan's heart was streaming with tears. Pei Yucheng removed his glasses and placed them aside. He tugged at his collar gently as though he was trying to ease his tension. "Miss Lin, are we together now?" They had been dating for so long, but they couldn't be considered a real couple. Lin Yan glanced at the man and muttered, "We definitely can't be considered together in the past. After all, you were the one who tricked me. You chased after him yourself. It has nothing to do with me." Okay. Pei Yucheng didn't dare to retort. "Now." Lin Yan coughed softly and glanced at him. "Forget it. After all, I spent 10 seconds chasing after him." Pei Yucheng was startled at first. Then, his chest vibrated gently as he chuckled softly. A second later, a long kiss landed on her. Lin Yan, who was in a daze, peeked at the man in front of her and cursed under her breath. This fellow had removed his glasses and kissed her. Did he know that she would agree? But it was no wonder. If it wasn't true love, who could endure eating his dark cuisine for so long? Even Pei Nanxiu and Pei Yutang, who were brothers, had run away. She was the only one who could eat it. "Hold on. If we are officially dating, I have conditions." Lin Yan scrambled to her feet and spoke solemnly. "I agree. I haven't said what the conditions are." "Speak." "First, as I said earlier, you are not allowed to possess my body again. Secondly, you are not allowed to cook." "Alright." Pei Yucheng's phone rang. It was Pei Yutang. He must have been worried that they would fight. As expected, Pei Yutang's worried voice came through the phone. "Big brother, what's the matter?" Pei Yucheng was in a good mood, so his tone was gentle. "After we left, did sister-in-law quarrel with you?" "Yeah, it's too noisy." "But, then what?" "We broke up." "What? What did you say?" Pei Yutang's voice cracked, as though he had heard the end of the world. Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yucheng, feeling rather speechless. Why was he scaring the kid? Lin Yan didn't need to think to know how frightened Pei Yutang was. Hence, she snatched the phone from him and said, "Calm down. I spent 10 seconds trying to win your brother back." Pei Yucheng raised an eyebrow. Pei Yutang was speechless. After a long silence, a certain single dog asked from the depths of his soul, "Is it popular nowadays to lure dogs in before killing them?" Chapter 922. Late at night, in a guest room somewhere, Pei Zai's fingers tapped on the table, intentionally or unintentionally, making banging sounds. A moment later, Pei Zai's gaze landed on the young man beside him. "Second master, you seem to have something on your mind," the young man asked as he looked at Pei Zai. Pei Zai replied thoughtfully, "Death is like an extinguished lamp. Will the lamp still light up after the oil is gone?" The young man's expression changed slightly. He naturally didn't know what Pei Zai was referring to, so he didn't dare make wild guesses. In the Pei family, although Pei Zai's evolved ability was sparse and ordinary, his intelligence was extraordinarily high. Almost no one could compare to him. Every word he said might have a deep meaning. The young man naturally didn't dare make wild guesses, nor could he understand the meaning of Pei Zai's words. "Second master, you mean?" After a long while, the young man looked at Pei Zai and asked. "I met my cousin's girlfriend at Cloud Manor today," Pei Zai said slowly. "Pei Yucheng's girlfriend?" The young man frowned. "Do you think there's something wrong?" The young man naturally knew why Pei Zhe had gone to Cloud Manor. Ever since the demoness had disappeared, most of the rumors had been that she was dead. At the very beginning, the demoness faction had promised Pei Zhe to help him destroy the Pei family and make him the true master of the Pei family. However, with the demoness' death, all the promises had vanished into thin air. Thus, Pei Zhe could only rely on himself now. In the Pei family, there was no lack of outstanding juniors. Most of them were ruthless and unscrupulous in order to achieve their goals. In such a Pei family, Pei Zhe had been able to live to this day because he knew how to endure. He hadn't shown any intention of fighting for the inheritance of the Pei family. Perhaps it was because of this that no one took Pei Zhe seriously and he had been able to survive. As time passed, Pei Zhe's situation in the Pei family became more and more dangerous. If he didn't have a powerful ally, he wouldn't be able to fight for the inheritance of the Pei family. In the end, it was hard to say whether he would be able to keep his life in the battle for the inheritance. "Do you still remember that demoness?" Pei Zhe asked after a long while. "Of course, second master knows." The young man nodded. Her power once tried to get the Pei family to submit to her, but the Pei family politely refused. Later, they agreed to help second master destroy the Pei family, so that second master can take control of the Pei family and become the new master of the Pei family. Pei Zhe's fingers were still tapping on the table, and the banging sounds became more frequent. No one knew what the demoness forces were plotting. They had indeed roped in many great evolver clans, but when it came to the Pei family, although they didn't dare to offend them, they didn't agree either. Back then, after the Pei family rejected the demoness' strength, Pei Zhe knew that this was a rare opportunity for him. He had once contacted the she-devil's forces and expressed that if he could obtain the inheritance rights of the Pei family and become the head of the Pei family, he would be loyal to the she-devil. It was also because of Pei Zhe's promise that the demoness faction had agreed to help Pei Zhe become the new master of the Pei family. However, not long after, the she-devil disappeared, or perhaps she was no longer in this world. "I saw that woman at Cloud Manor today," Pei Zhe said thoughtfully. "See that she-devil, that she-devil?" Chapter 923. As soon as Pei Zhe finished speaking, the young man's expression changed immediately, and he said in disbelief, "Second master, you saw that demoness?" "Yes," Pei Zhe replied calmly. However, the young man was a little puzzled. "Second master, the demoness has never shown her true appearance. Have you seen her in person?" The demoness was extremely mysterious. Not to mention them, even in the headquarters of the Hunters Guild, there seemed to be very few people who knew her true appearance. Moreover, no one even knew what level the demoness had evolved to. The Hunters Guild and the demoness faction were like fire and water. For many years, the Hunters Guild's main goal had been to destroy the demoness. However, they had never even seen the demoness' face. Furthermore, every time they fought against the demoness faction, they suffered heavy losses. Many of the ridiculously powerful A-class evolved beings of the Hunters Guild had died in the hands of the demoness faction. The young man hadn't expected second master to have seen the demoness' face. "I just met her by chance," Pei Zhe said casually. That's strange. Didn't the demoness go missing? Rumor has it that she's dead. All these years, the demoness forces have not been as active as before. This makes people believe that she's dead. But why did second master see her at Cloud Manor? The young man asked with a puzzled expression. "That's not all. She appeared as my cousin's girlfriend." Pei Zhe couldn't understand either. How could that happen? The young man said in surprise. "What's going on?" Pei Zhe fell into deep thought. "Second master, are you sure that the Miss Lin you mentioned just now is the demoness herself?" The young man asked. Pei Zhe wasn't sure about this either. The only thing Pei Zhe could be sure of was that Lin Yan and the demoness looked very similar. They were almost exactly the same, but their words and actions were very different. Pei Zhe could be sure that Lin Yan and the demoness were the same person based on their appearance. However, based on their words and actions, they were completely different people. Hence, Pei Zhe still couldn't be sure if the two of them were the same person. Second Master, should we find an opportunity to ask? The young man asked. A moment later, Pei Zhe shook his head. Absolutely not. If the demoness had appeared in the Pei family as Pei Yucheng's girlfriend, there was a high possibility that she was plotting something. If he asked her now and she was really the demoness, he would be in trouble. Right now, I'm just worried if he wants to attack my cousin. A hint of worry appeared in Pei Zhe's eyes. The young man looked at Pei Zhe and fell into deep thought. After following Pei Zhe for many years, the young man knew Pei Zhe and his past very well. Back then, Pei Zhe hadn't been valued in the Pei family. At that time, the younger generation of the Pei family had been like a group of dazzling stars. Chapter 924. Second Master, I don't think that's the case. The young man replied, if that demoness really wanted to attack Pei Yucheng, I'm afraid she wouldn't have to go through so much trouble. She wouldn't have to change her appearance to get close to Pei Yucheng and even become his girlfriend. Although Pei Yucheng's evolution level is extremely high, she wouldn't have to do this if she really wanted to get rid of him, the young man analyzed. Don't tell me I don't know. Pei Zhe glanced at the young man. The young man hurriedly said, Second Master, I spoke too much. Pei Zhe fell into deep thought again. Naturally, he had his reasons to be worried. Pei Yucheng had kept a low profile for many years. He hadn't done anything else in Cloud Manor, nor had he offended the demoness power. Logically speaking, the demoness wouldn't attack Pei Yucheng for no reason. Besides, Pei Yucheng wasn't on his elimination list. Even if Pei Yucheng was on his elimination list, Pei Zhe didn't believe that the demoness would personally attack him because of such a small matter. The demoness wouldn't care about the entire Pei family, let alone Pei Yucheng. In that case, there were only three possibilities based on Pei Zhe's analysis. Firstly, Lin Yan was Lin Yan, and the demoness was the demoness. They weren't the same person at all. Secondly, Lin Yan was indeed the demoness, but she had fallen in love with Pei Yucheng. No matter who the demoness was or how powerful she was still a woman. It wasn't strange for her to meet someone she loved. Pei Zhe could accept the first 2 points, which made him heave a sigh of relief. However, the third point made Pei Zhe's body shiver at the thought of it. It was also the point that Pei Zhe didn't want to become a reality. Pei Zhe and Pei Yucheng had been close since they were young, so he knew a lot about Pei Yucheng. This included the mysterious sacred ground. Pei Yucheng had never told anyone that he had become the disciple of the master of the sacred ground. According to Pei Yucheng, the so-called sacred ground was the sacred ground of evolved beings. It was the origin of the evolved beings order. There were powerful evolved beings in this world. The reason why it could maintain peace and order was entirely because of the existence of the sacred ground and the rules set by it. Pei Yucheng had been fortunate enough to study in a holy land when he was young. He had even become the disciple of the holy land's leader. No one else in the Pei family knew about this except for him. Pei Zhe was only afraid that the demoness knew about this, so she had concealed her identity and become Pei Yucheng's girlfriend. Her goal was to get close to the Holy Land and even the most powerful leader of the Holy Land in history. However, Pei Zhe still had doubts. Although the demoness and her forces were powerful enough, how could they fight against the Holy Lands? Especially the leader of the Holy Land, who was rumored to be the strongest evolver in the world. Pei Zhe, on the other hand, believed that the demoness and her forces would be easily destroyed if they went against the Holy Land head-on. That was why the demoness knew that Pei Yucheng was the disciple of the leader of the Holy Land. That was why she had approached Pei Yucheng. Perhaps she wanted to use this identity to make the Holy Land lower its guard while she hatched a bigger scheme. Once the Holy Land disappeared, this world would be completely overturned. On the surface, even if the Hunters Guild maintained order, it was far from enough. Without the deterrence of the sacred land, even Pei Zhe could not imagine what this world would become. Second Master, what do you plan to do? The young man's gaze landed on Pei Zhe. Chapter 925. Let's wait and see, Pei Zhe replied calmly. Regardless of whether Lin Yan was a demoness or if she had any ulterior motives for the sacred ground, he had to investigate. Actually, Pei Zhe didn't care about the sacred ground or what would happen to the world. However, he had to protect Pei Yucheng. If Lin Yan was really that demoness, he couldn't let anything happen to Pei Yucheng. Of course, the premise was that he couldn't offend the demoness. Otherwise, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. Second Master, should we communicate with Pei Yucheng? If Miss Lin is a demoness and Second Master doesn't know about it, I'm afraid there will be a huge mess, the young man said with a frown. Pei Zhe shook his head and said, there's no need to make it public. Just wait and see. How could Pei Zhe not see Pei Yucheng's feelings for Lin Yan at Cloud Manor today? If he told Pei Yucheng the truth, he was afraid that it would backfire. Pei Yucheng would definitely not believe him and might even think that he was helping Tang Rong cause trouble. Cousin, take care. The inheritance of the Pei family. In the end, you will be the only one who can compete with me, Pei Zhe muttered. At Cloud Manor, she could vaguely hear the snoring of a cat in the room. On the bed, Lin Yan's pajamas were drenched. In her sleep, Lin Yan's brows were tightly furrowed, as though she was in extreme pain. The scene in the dream made Lin Yan even more terrified. She felt as though she was flying in the air, but she also felt as though she was trapped in the deep sea. She seemed to see smiling faces that completely turned into fear and despair. Soon, a faint halo appeared and surrounded Lin Yan. In an instant, all the painful scenes shattered like a mirror, leaving behind only beauty. Lin Yan opened her eyes a moment later. She looked at the time. It was early in the morning. Lin Yan sat up and drank a mouthful of water, looking puzzled. She seemed to have had an incredible dream, but she couldn't remember it. For some reason, the first person she wanted to see when she woke up was Pei Yucheng. She didn't know if Pei Yucheng was asleep. Lin Yan changed her clothes and walked to the bedroom. When she reached the study, Lin Yan realized that Pei Nanxiu and Pei Yutong were there as well. You're not asleep yet. Pei Yucheng spoke softly when he saw Lin Yan. I'm awake. Lin Yan grinned. You're awake? Pei Yutong glanced at Lin Yan in surprise. Sister Yan, what's wrong with you? Are you a nocturnal sleeper? Why aren't the two of you resting? Lin Yan was puzzled. Why are you disturbing your brother so late at night? Pei Yutong and Pei Nanxiu were rendered speechless by Lin Yan's protective stance. Pei Yucheng stroked the girl's hair. It's okay. I couldn't sleep anyway. Lin Yan blinked, looking worried. Can't sleep? What's wrong? Insomnia? Should we call the doctor over? Pei Yucheng chuckled but didn't say anything. He merely watched her quietly. Chapter 926. Big brother, you're an evolved being after all. Why don't you know this and that? What do you know? At least have a superpower. Pei Yutong quipped. I'll break your legs, Pei Yucheng replied calmly. Pei Yutong was speechless. Big brother, I was wrong. Big brother, don't. You can't do anything to me, who isn't an evolved being. Big brother, do you have to maintain world peace? Pei Yutong pressed on. Pei Yucheng was speechless, even Lin Yen couldn't take it anymore. Big brother, can you smash a mountain with one punch? Pei Nanxiu asked solemnly. Lin Yen was speechless. What was wrong with these two brothers today? It was one thing for Pei Yutong, but why was his idol, Pei Nanxiu, asking such strange questions? That's enough, both of you. Have you watched too many movies? Why are you asking such strange questions? Lin Yen couldn't help but speak up. Sister Yen, that's true. She's an evolved being. Superpower. Isn't it normal to be able to fly, burrow into the ground, and turn invisible? Can't I do that? Pei Yutong pursed his lips. Cut the crap. Lin Yen sighed heavily as she glanced at Pei Nanxiu and Pei Yutong helplessly. Then, she turned to Pei Yucheng and said sternly, Mr. Pei, can you turn stone into gold? I mean, place your finger on a stone and turn it into gold, jade, diamond, or something like that. Pei Nanxiu and Pei Yutong were dumbfounded when they heard Lin Yen. Who was the one who had asked such a strange question? Wasn't she the one? Turning stones into gold, diamonds, and jadeite? That was pure greed. Sure. However, Pei Yutong and Pei Nanxiu had never expected Pei Yucheng to say that he could. Lin Yen was startled. She had just said it casually. As long as you want it, you can do it. Pei Yucheng grinned at Lin Yen. Lin Yen understood what Pei Yucheng meant instantly. Given his wealth, he could even make ambergris, let alone gold, diamonds, and jade. Of course, it wasn't because Pei Yucheng had this ability. It was just because he was rich. Pei Yutong fell into deep thought as he ran out of the study. About 10 seconds later, he carried a huge rock into the room and placed it gently on the desk. What are you doing? Lin Yen looked puzzled. Pei Yutong grinned at Pei Yucheng. Big brother, come on. I want gold. Treat it as my pocket money this month. What do you think? Pei Yucheng studied Pei Yutong as though he was looking at a retard. Mr. Pei. I have a question for you, Lin Yen said after some time. What is it? Pei Yucheng asked. I just want to ask if Pei Yutong is your biological son. Is he really the same as you? Lin Yen was increasingly suspicious. She could believe that Pei Nanxiu was Pei Yucheng's biological brother, but Pei Yutong didn't seem to be Pei Yucheng's biological brother. Sister Yen, what do you mean? Why can't I be your biological son? I'm definitely your biological son. Pei Yutong was indignant as he replied, Isn't that right, big brother? I don't know, Pei Yucheng replied calmly. Pei Yutong was speechless. At that moment, Pei Yutong felt like dying. He was so outstanding, so how could he not be his biological son? He felt that he only had one flaw. Other than the fact that he wasn't an evolved being, he was almost perfect. His IQ and EQ were similar to his big brother's. Of course, he was also good-looking. End of this chapter. Chapter 927. Is big sister-in-law an evolved being too? Pei Nanxiu glanced at Lin Yen. Yeah, Lin Yen admitted. Impressive. Pei Nanxiu was deep in thought. Sister Yen, you can't do it. You're too lousy. Pei Yutong quipped. When she had been at Lin Yan's company, Pei Yutong had seen her being beaten up by two crazy old men and her boss. She had been beaten up everywhere she went, and she had swallowed her anger. She had been an evolved being, and that had been a grievance. Lousy? Pei Nanxiu glanced at Pei Yutong in confusion. You've seen it before? Pei Yutong nodded eagerly. Yes, yes, yes. Initially, Pei Yutong had wanted to tell her about what had happened. However, on second thought, he realized that it wouldn't be appropriate. Hence, he corrected himself. I knew that Sister Yen is an evolved being. We even sparred before. Sigh. That's all. It's ordinary and unpresentable. Lin Yen glared at Pei Yutong. I feel like you're provoking me. Pei Yutong quipped, Sister Yen, I'm not. I'm just stating a fact. You don't know anything and only know how to use your fists. You're a rookie. If I'm the shame of the racing world, then you're the weirdo of the evolved world. Do you believe that I can kill you with one punch? Lin Yen glared at Pei Yutong and hissed fiercely. Don't think that I won't dare to beat you up just because you're my son. There was a saying that went, it's the father's fault if he doesn't teach his son well. Big brother, look at Sister Yen. She wants to beat your beloved brother, but you're not going to do anything about it. Can you watch as your brother is threatened and beaten to death? Pei Yutong glanced at Pei Yucheng, aggrieved. Lin Yen was speechless. Indeed, the child had grown up and his wings had hardened. Now, he even dared to complain to his big brother. The husband follows the wife, Pei Yucheng replied calmly. Huh? Pei Yutong, who was taken aback by Pei Yucheng's words, asked in confusion, the husband follows the wife? What does that mean? Pei Nanxiu pondered this for a moment before he replied, it means that big brother and big sister-in-law will beat you up. Pei Yutong, ha ha ha. I was just joking. Why are you so serious? A gentleman doesn't use his mouth. No, a gentleman uses his mouth, not his fists, replied Pei Yutong. Big brother, big sister-in-law, it's late. Rest early. Yutong and I will make a move first. Pei Nanxiu glanced at Pei Yucheng and Lin Yen. Okay, Pei Yucheng replied. Leave? Pei Yutong froze. Why are you leaving? If you want to leave, second brother, you can leave. I'm not leaving. I want to see big brother's superpowers. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. Don't look for me when you get beaten to death. Pei Nanxiu turned to leave. Second brother, you're afraid of the dark. Forget it. I'll go with you. Pei Yutong hurriedly chased after him. I'm not afraid of the dark, replied Pei Nanxiu calmly. No, you're afraid. After Pei Nanxiu and Pei Yutong left, Lin Yen turned to Pei Yucheng. I'm hungry. Pei Yucheng chuckled softly. What do you want to eat? I'll make it for you. Lin Yen blurted out, have you forgotten what you promised me? Pei Yucheng was speechless. Oh yeah, Pei Yutong and Pei Nanxiu came to see your superpowers? Lin Yen was curious. Even she didn't know what kind of superpowers Pei Yucheng had. End of this chapter. Chapter 928. The two of them want to go to the Pei family with me, replied Pei Yucheng. Will you guys come with me? Asked Lin Yen. Pei Yucheng shook his head. I didn't agree. Lin Yen was puzzled. Weren't Pei Nanxiu and Pei Yutong part of the Pei family? Even if they couldn't evolve, couldn't they enter the Pei family? Was the family of evolved beings so cold and heartless? No matter what, they were all descendants of the younger generation whose blood was thicker than water. Pei Yucheng, who noticed Lin Yan's expression, said softly, what you're thinking is that the evolved beings are cold and heartless. Lin Yan raised her head to look at Pei Yucheng. Could it be that his evolved ability was mind-reading? She could even tell what he was thinking. Was her behavior that obvious? Of course, since Pei Yucheng had smelled it, Lin Yan replied bluntly, that's what I think. Don't evolved beings have any kinship? No. Pei Yucheng put down the document in his hand and stared at Lin Yan. It's because of kinship. Because of kinship? Lin Yan was even more puzzled when she heard Pei Yucheng. Was it because of kinship that they chased away non-evolved beings? It's very dangerous in evolved beings' clans because of the inheritance. Non-evolved beings don't have to get involved and suffer, Pei Yucheng explained to Lin Yan. Is that so? Lin Yan fell into deep thought. Secondly, the external dangers are even more fatal. When the two races fight, non-evolved beings are in a more dangerous situation. Therefore, almost all evolved beings will send their non-evolved descendants away to ensure that they don't have to worry about food and clothing for the rest of their lives, Pei Yucheng explained. Lin Yan fell into deep thought. According to Pei Yucheng's explanation, that seemed to be the case. For an evolved being, there should indeed be risks that ordinary people couldn't see. If they sent away non-evolved beings who didn't have the ability to protect themselves and ensured that they didn't have to worry about food and clothing, it would actually be a good thing. From the looks of it, she had misunderstood the evolved beings' families. That's why I don't want Yutong and the others to interact too much with the Pei family. The more they interact with the Pei family, the more danger they might encounter. I can't be by their side all the time to protect them. The same goes for my father, Pei Yucheng replied. Okay, I understand. Then, if you want to go back this time, you have to be careful. Lin Yan glanced at him worriedly. Pei Yucheng had mentioned that the Pei family had been embroiled in internal strife because of the inheritance. It sounded very dangerous. It's fine. Who would care about an exiled junior? Pei Yucheng chuckled softly. Lin Yan was speechless. At the mention of being exiled, Lin Yan recalled what Tang Rong had said. No matter what Pei Yucheng said, she still felt a little uncomfortable. Chapter 929. Lin Yan looked at the rearview mirror and realized that there was a motorcycle behind her. The car hadn't changed its direction at all. There were two people on the motorcycle. Although they were wearing sunglasses and helmets, Lin Yan could recognize them at a glance. They were Zhang San and Li Si, the strange brothers. Lin Yan felt a little helpless when it came to these two people. They were like plasters that she couldn't shake off no matter how hard she tried. Lin Yan turned the steering wheel casually and steered the car sideways. She stopped the motorcycle in the middle of the road and blocked its path. After the motorcycle was forced to stop, Lin Yan opened the door and alighted. Lin Yan glanced at Zhang San and Li Si, who were on the motorcycle. She frowned and said impatiently, "Zhang San, Li Si, what are you trying to do?" The two of them were startled when they heard Lin Yan. Li Si sneered coldly. "You are a beauty, but why did you become a thief?" Sigh. How sad. Lin Yan was speechless. What was this fool talking about? Li Si, what does that mean? Zhang San glanced at Li Si curiously. Zhang San, you've asked the right person. Let me tell you, it means that you are so good-looking. Why do you want to be a bad person? How sad. Li Si grinned. Zhang San immediately gave him a thumbs up. Not bad. I didn't expect my brother to be so cultured. Cultured? Li Si couldn't help but sneer. I'm a great writer. Lin Yan couldn't help but sigh as she watched Zhang San and Li Si perform a one-man show. If they were all great writers, wouldn't she be the goddess of knowledge? If there's nothing else, I'll leave first, replied Lin Yan. Don't be rude. How dare you ignore us? Zhang San glared at Lin Yan and bellowed angrily. Lin Yan was speechless. Who was ignoring whom? These two brothers were clearly ignoring her, but now, she was the one ignoring them. Lin Yan had met shameless people before, such as Pei Yutong and He Lifeng. However, compared to Zhang San and Li Si, they were far inferior. Tell me. Why have you pestered me so many times? Lin Yen glared at them. Cut the crap. Wait a minute, do you have any helpers in the car? Is Third Firmament still there? Zhang San peered at Lin Yan's car warily. No, I'm alone, replied Lin Yan. Hearing this, Zhang San nodded. It's good that he's not here. Then we can rest assured. Are you afraid of Xiaoyao? Asked Lin Yan with a faint smile. Ha ha ha. The two brothers burst into laughter as though they had just heard a hilarious joke. After laughing for a while, Zhang San said, Ignorant junior, why would we be afraid of the Third Firmament? Why would he be afraid of Xiaoyao? Who do they think they are? We just don't want to fight with young people. When the time comes, people will say that we're taking advantage of our seniority. Li Si glanced at Zhang San, **T. Do you have any culture? That's called being old and despicable. Lin Yen was speechless. That old thing was detestable. He was really cultured. He was indeed a great writer. Shouldn't they be bullying the weak? Lin Yen sighed heavily. Yes, yes, yes. Li Si nodded repeatedly. You're right. That's what I meant just now. We don't want to bully the weak with numbers. It goes against our principles. Chapter 930. Big brother, am I right? Li Si glanced at Zhang San. Yes, you're absolutely right. Zhang San nodded and said, We are cultured men who have received a high-quality education. We will never bully the weak or use numbers to bully the few. This goes against the righteous path in our hearts. Oh. Lin Yen studied the two brothers thoughtfully and sneered coldly. Then. What are the two of you doing now? What are we doing? Li Si pursed his lips. Of course, we want to take you away and let you face justice. Didn't you just say that you don't want to bully the weak? Why are you changing your mind now? Lin Yen sneered coldly. Zhang San and Li Si were taken aback when they heard Lin Yen. Then, they exchanged a glance. Big brother. What she said seems to make sense, Li Si said with a frown. Pa. How did we bully the few with numbers? Zhang San was unconvinced. In terms of age, the two of you are much older than me. In terms of experience, both of you are seniors. In terms of numbers, aren't the two of you bullying me? Lin Yen replied calmly. Big brother, what she said makes sense. Li Si said. Makes sense, makes sense. Can't you say something else? Makes sense? Zhang San retorted. Big brother, I'm not trying to criticize you, but you're being unreasonable. You're being too disrespectful. As the saying goes, you can walk the world if you're reasonable. If you're unreasonable, you won't be able to move an inch. You can't be unreasonable and resort to sophistry, Li Si said. Senior Li Si is right. I think that Senior Li Si's thinking is much higher than Senior Zhang San's. Senior Li Si should be the elder brother. Lin Yen smiled at Li Si. Li Si perked up when he heard Lin Yen. He hurriedly said, Yes, you're right. Right, right, right. Can't you see that she's playing with us? Zhang San glanced at Li Si. Heh, Zhang San, don't you have any shame? I think what this lady said makes sense. I have a higher level of thought than you, and I have more sense of justice than you. I should be the elder brother, and you are the younger brother. Li Si said. I can't be bothered to talk to you. Zhang San glanced at Lin Yen. All right, in that case, we won't join forces. You can choose one as your opponent. As long as you win, you can say whatever you want. Really? Lin Yen grinned. Duh, of course it's true. Zhang San, am a man of my word, 9 cauldrons more than a man of my word. Alright, I'll believe Senior Zhang San for now. I'll choose Senior Li Si as my opponent. Lin Yan's gaze landed on Li Si. No matter how she looked at it, Li Si was more foolish than Zhang San. Ha ha ha, good choice. Young lady, you really have a good eye. Choosing me was the right choice. Li Si laughed. Before Lin Yan could reply, Li Si said, how about this? I'll let you make 3 moves to show my sincerity. No need. Lin Yan shook her head. In terms of evolved abilities, I know my limits. I'm inferior to Senior Li Si. I admit defeat. Lin Yan guessed that both of them were spiritually evolved beings, but their bodies were terrifyingly strong. They weren't as pure as the man who could control wild beasts. No matter what, she couldn't win. Chapter 931. In that case, you admit defeat. Come with us. Li Si said. There's no hurry. We haven't competed yet. Lin Yan smiled. Didn't you admit defeat? Li Si was puzzled. Senior Li Si, you're using your expertise against my expertise. Isn't that an unfair victory? Isn't that against your principles? Bullying a weak girl doesn't seem like something you would do, Lin Yan said. Yes, you're right. I definitely won't bully a woman. Alright, tell me, how do we compete? Li Si nodded repeatedly. Let's not compete with evolved beings' abilities. Let's compete with other things. How about that? Lin Yan said. Compete with other things? Li Si was slightly taken aback. Compete with what? Let's compete, to see who's younger? Lin Yan asked tentatively. Sure. We'll compete however you want. I won't lose to you. Li Si said. Are you AF * king fool? Zhang San looked at Li Si in shock and disbelief. Who are you calling a fool? Say that again. Li Si was instantly enraged. Senior Zhang San, this is a competition between me and Senior Li Si. It has nothing to do with you, Lin Yan said. Yes, what does it have to do with an old thing like you? You don't respect yourself and don't want to be on the same team as you. Pfft. Li Si's face was full of disdain. Zhang San was speechless. Senior Li Si, how old are you this year? Lin Yan smiled at Li Si. What do you mean? Li Si was puzzled. How old are you this year? Lin Yan asked. I'm 58. Li Si looked proud. Oh, I'm 18. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up slightly. So what? Li Si was puzzled. I won, Lin Yan said. Li Si was stunned when he heard Lin Yan. How did you win? Senior Li Si, didn't we just talk about who's younger? Lin Yan smiled. That's right. Li Si nodded. Then you're 64 and I'm 18. Did I win? Lin Yan smiled. It seems like that. Li Si frowned and muttered, but, you don't look 18. You're not that young. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. Even if I'm not 18, I'm still younger than you. I'll still win. Humph, I didn't expect that Li Si, who had dominated the world for my entire life, would actually lose to a girl like you today. Fine, I'm willing to accept my loss. Consider yourself formidable. I'm impressed, said Li Si. Lin Yan was speechless. This person might be a good person, but this mentally handicapped person was a little indecent. Pfft. What's the point of winning against a fool? Is that all you've got? Zhang San glared at Lin Yan and gritted his teeth. Who are you calling a fool? Immediately, Li Si stepped forward and punched Zhang San's chest. Try saying that again. You're old and you can't afford to lose. If you lose, you lose. If you're willing to bet, you have to admit defeat. What excuses are you looking for? Scram. You're done. It's my turn. Zhang San couldn't be bothered with Li Si. His eyes landed on Lin Yan. I'm not stupid. In that case, let's compare our IQ. Lin Yan grinned. Compare our IQ? Hearing this, Zhang San laughed heartily. All right, then this old man will compete with you in terms of IQ today. I will let you know what it means to have great wisdom appear to be stupidity, to be outwardly foolish but inwardly wise, to have great skill appear to be clumsy, to be resourceful. Lin Yan glanced at Zhang San. How could he be so wise and foolish? He didn't seem wise and clever, but his stupidity was outstanding. Chapter 932. Alright, please listen to the question. Lin Yan replied solemnly. Pa. A woman like you can't ascend to the top. Just bring it on. I'll let you see what it means to be beautiful on the outside and intelligent on the inside. Zhang San sneered. There's a $50 bill and a $100 bill on the ground. Which one would you pick up? Lin Yan stared at Zhang San intently. How is this a competition of intelligence? Are you insulting me? Zhang San flared up when he heard Lin Yan's question. He felt as though he had been offended. That's right. What kind of retarded question is this? You are looking down on my big brother's intelligence. Li Si echoed. Lin Yan was speechless. You don't have to care about my question. Just answer me. I'll admit defeat. Why? Senior Zhang San can't afford to play? Lin Yan sneered coldly. Huh, I can't afford to play? What a joke, what a huge joke. I'll make you pay for your arrogance and ignorance today. Zhang San glared at Lin Yan. If there was a $50 or $100 bill on the ground, would definitely pick it up. Big brother, you can't be too greedy. Pick up the 50. Li Si frowned. What 50? Pick up 100. Zhang San glanced at Li Si. I feel that the most important thing in life is to have a sense of justice. You can't be too greedy. Just pick up the 50. Li Si said after a moment of silence. Humph, you don't want to eat drumsticks tonight? If we pick up 100, it'll be enough for us to eat a good meal. If we pick up 50, it'll only be enough for me to eat a good meal. Do you think we should pick up 100 or 50? Tell me, I'll listen to you, Zhang San said. Li Si hesitated for a moment. Then, let's just pick up 100 and buy more drumsticks. Little girl, I'll pick up $100. What do you think? Zhang San sneered at Lin Yan. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up. Senior Zhang San, are you sure you want to pick up 100 yuan? That's right, I'm sure I'll pick up 100. Only a fool would pick up 50. What kind of bullsh*t question is that? Is there anything more ruthless? Zhang San asked. Senior Zhang San, I think you're quite silly. Lin Yan grinned. What do you mean? Are you willing to bet but not willing to admit defeat? Zhang San's anger surged. Senior Zhang San, do you want to know which one I will pick up? Asked Lin Yan. Which one? Zhang San asked subconsciously. I will pick up all the 50 and 100 coins. Lin Yan suppressed her laughter. These two brothers were really silly. Both of them? Zhang San was dumbfounded when he heard Lin Yan. Not to mention Zhang San, even Li Si was a little surprised. Wait. You didn't say that I could pick them up. Zhang San frowned. I didn't say that I couldn't pick it up, replied Lin Yan. Zhang San, Li Si, it doesn't count, it doesn't count. You didn't explain the rules clearly. Come again if you have the ability. If I continue to lose, I will call you grandma. Zhang San was so anxious that his face turned red. Lin Yan was afraid that she would push Zhang San too far. Thus, she replied, sure. Today, he would let these two brothers experience what it meant to be beaten by society. Please listen to the question. Replied Lin Yan. Come, come, come. Zhang San rolled up his sleeves. Question: a chicken and a goose were placed in the fridge at the same time. However, the chicken froze to death, while the goose is still alive. May I know why? Asked Lin Yan. Zhang San's expression changed when he heard Lin Yan's question. The confidence on his face vanished like smoke in thin air. Chapter 933. The chicken is dead, but the goose is still alive. Why? Zhang San mumbled. Brother, could it be a zombie? Li Si glanced at Zhang San and asked softly. What zombies? Zombies my ass. Have you watched too many movies? Zombies. Zhang San rolled his eyes at Li Si. If it's not a zombie, why is the goose still alive when the chicken is frozen to death? Li Si was puzzled. Zhang San stared at Lin Yan. Master is soft-hearted and spared the goose's life. Lin Yan smiled and shook her head. Yeah, I knew it. How could Master be soft-hearted? Zhang San smiled awkwardly. The goose is more resistant to the cold than the chicken? Li Si was puzzled. Don't mess around, Zhang San said impatiently. Zhang San's eyes lit up as he stared at Lin Yan. I know. The goose is an evolved being. The goose has evolved, so it won't freeze to death. Senior Zhang San, are you sure? Asked Lin Yan. I'm sure. Zhang San was confident. Then you're wrong. The goose isn't an evolved being. Lin Yan sighed, looking regretful. What did you say? It didn't evolve? Why? Zhang San asked anxiously. Because it's a penguin. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up. Penguin? Zhang San's expression darkened. Aren't you cheating? Why did the goose you mentioned become a penguin? Lin Yan stared at Zhang San in confusion. Senior Zhang San, isn't a penguin a goose? How can a penguin be a goose? The long-faced man shook his head. If a penguin isn't a goose, why is it called a penguin? Lin Yan grinned. That's because. Zhang San racked his brains for a long time, but he couldn't think of a reason. Right, why was a penguin called a goose? Wasn't that a trap? Why did it have to be called a penguin? Why couldn't it be called a duck? Is white wine wine? Lin Yan pressed. Yes. Zhang San's expression darkened. Is beer wine wine? Is cooking wine wine? Yes. Zhang San replied. Then why isn't a penguin a goose? Lin Yan pressed. Humph, that's not right. Let me ask you, where did the penguin go? Zhang San asked. What about my fridge? Lin Yan was puzzled. That's not right. The penguin is in the South Pole. Why would it be in your refrigerator? Zhang San said. Lin Yan was speechless. Indeed, the logic of a fool was very strange. I caught him, replied Lin Yan. Why are you catching penguins? I'm happy. I'm willing. I'm not just going to catch penguins. I'm also going to catch polar bears. What do you think? Can't I? Quipped Lin Yan. That's right, big brother. That's her business. She can catch whatever she wants, Li Si said immediately. Shut up. Zhang San rolled his eyes at Li Si and asked Lin Yan indignantly, the penguin is so big. How did you put it in the fridge? I have money. I want a custom-made fridge. Is that okay? Asked Lin Yan. What are you talking about? Even if you have money. Do you dare? Ask me again. Zhang San said anxiously. In that case, shouldn't Senior Zhang San fulfill his promise? Lin Yan grinned. Grandma. Zhang San gritted his teeth. Okay, good boy. Lin Yan nodded. Let me ask you again. What does 1 plus 1 equal? What does 1 plus 1 equal? Zhang San was taken aback. What kind of question was this? There had to be a trap. Big brother, 1 plus 1 equals 2. Even a fool knows that. Li Si added. Chapter 934. What do you know? Do you think I'm stupid? Let me tell you, it can't be that simple. There must be a trick. Zhang San shook his head. If it was really that simple, he wouldn't have gotten the previous two questions wrong. What does 1 plus 1 equal? Zhang San racked his brains, but he couldn't figure it out. However, no matter what the answer was, Zhang San was certain that it wouldn't be 2. What does 1 plus 1 equal? Zhang San rubbed his nose anxiously. Big brother, it's 2. If 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 2, what else can it be? Are you a fool? Li Si said anxiously. Get lost. What do you know? How can you compare to me with your intelligence? Zhang San sneered coldly and turned to Lin Yan. Do you think I'm my brother? Let me tell you, I'm talented and good-looking. I'm not that easy to fool. Zhang San's eyes lit up. He finally knew what 1 plus 1 was. I understand now. Zhang San looked excited. I understand now. Ha ha ha. Little girl, do you think such a question can stump me? 1 plus 1 equals 10. Lin Yan stared at the excited Zhang San as though he was a fool. 1 horizontal and 1 vertical is exactly 10. 1 plus 1 equals 10. That's right. I'm sure. Zhang San answered resolutely. I'm sorry, Senior Zhang San. You're wrong. Lin Yan smiled slyly. The smile on Zhang San's face froze the moment Lin Yan spoke. Was he wrong again? How could he be wrong? Couldn't he be right just once? Impossible. It's definitely 10. If it's not 10, what is it? Zhang San bellowed. 1 plus 1. Isn't it 2? Lin Yan was puzzled. Zhang San was dumbfounded when he heard Lin Yan. He almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Zhang San, you fool. I already said that 1 plus 1 equals 2. You're really a fool. How can you compare to me with your intelligence? I don't want to be associated with you. Li Si glared at Zhang San. That's not right. It shouldn't be like this. You're shameless. You're cheating. Zhang San roared at Lin Yan. Cheating? Lin Yan was puzzled. Senior, isn't 1 plus 1 equal to 2? Zhang San, since 1 plus 1 equals 2, why did Senior Zhang San say that I cheated? Asked Lin Yan. Zhang San, why aren't you playing according to the rules? Zhang San was unable to restrain his anger, but there was nothing he could do. This little girl was too cunning. Okay, I won't. Lin Yan grinned. You. Zhang San was so angry that he said, you, 3 times. Senior Zhang San, is there a problem? Lin Yen was confused. Long Fangs gnashed his teeth in hatred, but there was nothing he could do. No problem, in that case, I won this round. Lin Yen grinned. That won't do. Why are you the only one asking me? I have to ask you too. Only then will it be fair. Zhang San said. Lin Yen scanned Zhang San from head to toe. Not bad, he wasn't a complete fool. Alright, Senior Zhang San. Lin Yen nodded. You have to answer my question within 5 seconds. Otherwise, you lose. Zhang San said, what is the relationship between your father's younger sister's cousin's younger sister's nephew's uncle's father and you? Lin Yen was speechless. Ha ha ha. I don't believe that you can answer it. Countdown, 5. 4. 3. 2. Chapter 935. Lin Yen replied, we're relatives. Zhang San was dumbfounded when he heard Lin Yan's words. The victorious smile on his face froze. No. No one would do that. Zhang San stomped his foot angrily. He stomped his foot. What's wrong? We're relatives. There's nothing wrong with that, replied Lin Yen. That's right, big brother. We're relatives. Li Si nodded furiously. I'm done. Zhang San bellowed in exasperation. Since you're done, are you willing to admit defeat? Lin Yen glanced at Zhang San. Zhang San snorted coldly and glared at Lin Yen. What nonsense are you spouting? I, Zhang San, am a man of indomitable spirit. If I'm willing to gamble, I can afford to lose. No matter what tricks you used, I have nothing to say. Li Si sighed and shook his head. I only lost in age. My brother lost in intelligence. In that case, I lost in a better way. Senior Zhang San is indeed a real man. I admire you. Lin Yen cupped her fists. That's it. We'll let you off today. Zhang San turned around to leave. Hold on. Lin Yen suddenly stepped forward and blocked Zhang San's path. What else do you want? Zhang San glared at Lin Yen, looking displeased. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up. Seniors, you can leave if you want, but I have some questions to ask you. Zhang San suddenly laughed. What a joke. I don't care what questions you have. Why should I answer your so-called questions? If you have questions, ask your teacher. What does this have to do with me? Oh. Lin Yen was surprised. Could it be that Senior Zhang San can't afford to lose? What do you mean? How can I not afford to lose? I'm leaving now. Zhang San bellowed. Lin Yen shook her head. Senior Zhang San, we've already made it clear. If you win, I won't object if you want to fight or kill me. However, if you lose, you have to do whatever I say. Have you forgotten? Zhang San blushed when he heard Lin Yen. What? Who can prove it? I don't remember saying that. Don't spout nonsense here. I have never said anything like that. Before Lin Yen could respond, Li Si, who was beside her, flared up. Zhang San, don't you care about your dignity? As the saying goes, a shameless tree is invincible, but a shameless man will die. Lin Yen was speechless. He had said it the other way around. You clearly said that as long as she wins, she will do whatever she says. You even said that you, Zhang San, are a man of your word. That's 9 cauldrons more than 9 cauldrons, said Li Si. Senior Zhang San, what do you think? Lin Yen grinned. Zhang San glared fiercely at Li Si, then immediately slapped his forehead. Oh, right, I suddenly remembered. I said, "All right, ask away." "All right, I would like to ask if you belong to the Hunters Guild," replied Lin Yen. "That's right," replied Zhang San. "I don't seem to have any feud with the Hunters Guild. Besides, the Hunters Guild's mission is to arrest evolved beings who cause trouble everywhere. I've never caused trouble, so there's nothing special about me. Why is the Hunters Guild targeting me?" Zhang San glanced at Lin Yen. "How would I know? I'm not sure. If you want to ask, go to the Hunters Guild." Chapter 936. I know. Li Si suddenly said, "It's because of Si Bai." Si Bai? Lin Yen was puzzled. Who was Si Bai? Si Bai is a very strong evolver. He can control all kinds of beasts and even evolved beasts, Li Si explained. Lin Yen fell into deep thought. In that case, the mysterious man who had wanted her life and carried a macaw on his shoulder was the Si Bai that Li Si had mentioned. "I think this might be a misunderstanding," replied Lin Yen. "You can't tell us whether it's a misunderstanding or not. We didn't want to capture a little girl like you, but Si Bai said that you're a demoness who kills without batting an eye and commits evil everywhere." Zhang San stared at Lin Yen. Demoness? Demoness? How did she look like a demoness? Was there such a delicate and lovable demoness? She was clearly a female angel. Lin Yen suddenly recalled that when she had first met Si Bai, he had said that she resembled someone. Even Ling Yu had said the same thing. From the looks of it, it seemed that there was indeed such a possibility. She might be similar to that so-called demoness. In that case, that demoness should also be an evolved being. I would like to ask the two of you if she's powerful. Lin Yen glanced at Zhang San and Li Si. Nonsense. She kills without batting an eye. How can she not be powerful if she can do evil everywhere? Zhang San replied. In that case, the two of you shouldn't be a match for that demoness, right? Asked Lin Yen. Zhang San snorted. More or less. We're just a little weaker. Lin Yen was speechless. She was afraid that they weren't just about the same. They were worlds apart. All right, let me put it this way. If I'm really the demoness that the two of you mentioned, an extremely high-level evolved being who is ruthless and treats human life like grass, the two of you should have been killed by me the first time you provoked me, replied Lin Yen. Zhang San and Li Si were taken aback by Lin Yan's words. That seemed to make sense. Why hadn't they thought of this before? Big brother, that's right. What she said makes sense. Li Si stared at Lin Yen in confusion. In their eyes, Lin Yen was a weakling. However, she was hundreds of centuries away from the legendary demoness. What do you mean, we're so strong, how could the demoness kill us so easily? Zhang San rolled his eyes at Li Si. Zhang San scanned Lin Yen from head to toe. Although we are very strong, the demoness might be slightly stronger than us. What you said makes sense. Senior Zhang San, I definitely have nothing to do with that demoness. Although I'm an evolved being, I'm just an ordinary person. You know that I have my own company and a racing team. I go to work and get off work every day. How could I be a demoness? Replied Lin Yen. At this moment, Zhang San and Li Si were deep in thought. I think that the two of you have been tricked by Si Bai. He doesn't respect you at all. Instead, he's making fun of you. If the two of you accidentally kill me, wouldn't your reputation be ruined if word got out? Lin Yen pressed on. Motherf asterisk Ker, that Si Bai, I knew he wasn't a good person. He really was playing with us brothers. Li Si was furious. End of this chapter. Chapter 937. If that's the case, we have fallen into Si Bai's trap. Zhang San pondered for a moment before accepting Lin Yan's explanation. Yes, Si Bai must be up to no good. He must have used the two of you as pawns. Lin Yan added fuel to the fire. Let's go, big brother. Let's fight him to the death. No one has ever dared to look down on us and treat us like pawns. Li Si gritted his teeth. I want to. But the two of us are no match for him. Zhang San was hesitant. Lin Yan was startled when she heard that. Zhang San and Li Si couldn't defeat Si Bai. Was Si Bai very strong? She hadn't felt that he was that strong when she had sent him flying with a punch. Seniors, I have an idea. Why don't we work together and capture Si Bai first? Then, we can interrogate him. This can be considered as avenging the two of you. Lin Yan, Zhang San, and Li Si whispered to each other for a long time. Lin Yan rushed to the office in the afternoon. Other than He Lufeng and Mo Shuyun, she realized that boss Xiao Yao was there as well. The three of them were sitting on the sofa eating lunch. He Lufeng perked up when he saw Lin Yan enter the office. He mumbled something under his breath. Swallow the food in your mouth first. Lin Yan glanced at He Lufeng with disdain. Sister, you're finally here. Where did you go? You didn't even pick up the phone. Didn't we agree to buy the equipment today? He Lufeng quipped. Lin Yan was speechless. When had she said that she was going to buy equipment? Didn't she need money to buy equipment? There's no hurry, Lin Yan replied casually. She glanced at Xiao Yao. Boss, why are you here? Xiao Yao glanced at Lin Yan. I'm here to scrounge for food. Lin Yan was speechless. No matter how she looked at it, her boss didn't look like someone who would scrounge for food. Xiao Yao took out a briefcase and tossed it on the sofa. This month's salary. Lin Yan smiled brightly. Boss, you're too kind. We're so familiar with each other. There's no hurry. You don't want it? Asked Xiao Yao. No. I mean, I can go to your office to get it myself. Why would I trouble you to bring it here? It's rude. Lin Yan grinned. F***ck. He Lufeng opened his briefcase and was stunned when he saw the wads of cash inside. Get your claws off me. Lin Yan snatched the briefcase from him. Sister, is this your salary? He Lufeng's eyes widened. Yeah, why? Asked Lin Yan. So, a half-baked translator didn't even need to go to work, and his monthly salary was sky-high? This boss was a fool with a lot of money. He Lufeng wiped the oil off his mouth and looked at Xiao Yao. Boss, big brother, dad. Lin Yan was speechless, He Lufeng was speechless. I know 8 languages, and I'm very good at learning languages. I can learn any foreign language in the shortest time. Boss, do you still need employees? Do you still need employees? He Lufeng couldn't wait to introduce himself. Not at all, Xiao Yao said expressionlessly. He Lufeng was speechless. Xiao Yao's words struck He Lufeng like a bolt out of the blue. The entire world fell into despair. Ahem. Boss, if you don't need anyone, will you consider changing employees? He Lufeng stole a glance at Lin Yan. Chapter 938. Are you courting death? Lin Yan glared at He Lufeng. This rascal was trying to poach her. I won't consider it, replied Xiao Yao. Oh, that's fine then. Let's eat. He Lufeng shook his head, looking rather regretful. He Lufeng, you're too useless. Mo Shuyun glanced at He Lufeng with a frown. Before He Lufeng could speak, Mo Shuyun grinned at Xiao Yao. Daddy, do you need a driver? I'm good at driving. He Lifeng was speechless, Lin Yen was speechless, Xiao Yao was speechless. Boss, we're here to apply. The office door was pushed open, and Zhang San and Li Si strode in. He Lifeng jumped in fright when he saw the two of them. He instinctively hugged Xiao Yao's arm. Xiao Yao glanced at He Lifeng expressionlessly. He Lifeng, who was a little embarrassed, shrank his neck in fright. He could only let go of Xiao Yao's arm. Sister, these two people are like ghosts. Quick, beat them up. He Lifeng said nervously. Why should I beat them up? They are cleaners, replied Lin Yen. Cleaners? He Lifeng was astonished. Was there something wrong with her brain? She had hired these two people as cleaners? Did she think that her life was too long? Did she want to reincarnate as soon as possible? You've been hired. Come to work tomorrow. The company will pay you 3,000 yuan a month. No, 2,000 yuan. Lin Yen glanced at Zhang San and Li Si. Young lady, didn't we agree that we would pay 3,000 yuan a month even if we were acting? How long has it been? Why did you reduce it by 1,000 yuan? Zhang San bellowed. That's right. How can you go back on your word? Li Si snorted coldly. Meals, Lin Yen replied after some thought. Hearing this, Zhang San and Li Si looked at each other. A moment later, Zhang San said, Oh, food? All right then, 2,000 it is. But let me tell you, you can't tell a third person that we're here to trick Si Bai. You can't tell anyone that we plan to join forces to subdue Si Bai. Lin Yen was speechless. She suddenly regretted teaming up with Zhang San and Li Si. Was it a huge mistake? We'll come to work tomorrow. By the way, prepare a few more drumsticks for lunch. My brother has a big appetite. He can eat 10 drumsticks and 5 bowls of rice in one meal. With that, Zhang San and Li Si turned and left. Lin Yen snapped back to her senses. 10 drumsticks and 5 bowls of rice? Wait a minute. She should increase their salary to 3,000 yuan and let them eat out. Goddess, what do you mean? Mo Shuyun was confused. Sis, are you alright? What acting? What joining hands to subdue Si Bai? Who's Si Bai? He Lifeng was equally confused. Eat your food. Even food can't shut your mouth. Lin Yen rolled her eyes at He Lifeng. Xiao Yao glanced at Lin Yen meaningfully. Do you still remember what I told you? Lin Yen was startled. What? Don't provoke that person, Xiao Yao said indifferently. Be careful or you'll burn yourself. Boss, do you know Si Bai? Lin Yen frowned. I've heard of it, but I'm not familiar with it, said Xiao Yao. Aren't you familiar with him? Lin Yen fell into deep thought. He provoked my big brother, Xiao Yao replied after some time. And then? Lin Yen was curious. He escaped, Xiao Yao replied. Mo Shuyun glanced at Lin Yen and Xiao Yao in confusion. He realized that he couldn't understand what they were talking about. End of this chapter. Chapter 939. Boss, I've fought with Xiao Yao before. He doesn't seem that strong, Lin Yen said softly. He's a pure evolved mind power, and his evolved ability is extremely powerful. Even so, if my big brother hadn't seriously injured him back then, his physical fitness would still be rare. However, his ability has regressed greatly and he has become even weaker. Xiao Yao turned around and left the office without giving Lin Yen a chance to speak. Oh my god! What are you talking about? Evolved mind power? Evolved ability? Mo Shuyun's jaw almost dropped to the ground. Had these two bosses watched too many sci-fi movies and gone berserk? He Lufeng didn't say anything else as he ate his lunch quietly. That day, he had pretended to be Xiao Yao to save Lin Yan. From then on, he had known that this world was different from the one he knew. However, Lin Yan didn't say anything, so he wouldn't probe further. After all, he was just an ordinary genius racer. Lin Yan glanced at Mo Shuyun and fell silent for a moment before she raised her head. Don't you know that I have another identity besides being a racer? Actor? Mo Shuyun asked instinctively. Lin Yan nodded. Yeah, boss and I were rehearsing and discussing the script. Is there a problem? Oh, I was wondering. Mo Shuyun was enlightened after hearing Lin Yan's explanation. After all this time, he hadn't gone crazy. So they had been rehearsing. That's not right, right? Mo Shuyun asked curiously, Boss Xiao Yao, he's not an actor. Why would he be rehearsing with you and discussing the script? Lin Yan pondered it for a moment before she replied, look at Boss Xiao Yao's looks. Doesn't he beat all the fresh meats in the industry? That's for sure. If I were a woman, would definitely pursue him. Mo Shuyun nodded eagerly, as though he agreed with Lin Yan. That's why I brought him into the industry. Is there a problem? Lin Yan continued to spout nonsense. Then I understand. Boss Xiao Yao will definitely be a superstar in the future. He's rich and handsome. We have to cozy up to him. Mo Shuyun chuckled. He Lufeng ate his lunch quietly as he listened to Lin Yan's nonsense. After the meal, Mo Shuyun called Yun Xian over. Ever since the team had been established, they had been recruiting racers. Initially, it had only been the few of them, but after a long time, it was still the few of them. Other than the two dubious cleaners, no one else had been recruited. Fortunately, the rent was free. Otherwise, he would have lost all his money before he even started. When Yun Xian arrived, he told He Lufeng, old master is doing well in the hospital. He's recovering well. I've been taking care of him these few days. Don't worry. Lin Yan's eyes trailed to He Lufeng. I asked you to look after grandfather, but you didn't. Why did you ask Yun Xian to look after him? Lin Yan wished she could slap He Lufeng. He Lufeng was speechless. Sister, listen to me. I've been watching it, but I can't watch it 24 hours a day. I'm busy with work. Yun Xian is unemployed, so I let him watch it for a while. He Lufeng said. Unemployed Yun Xian, the company hasn't even hired anyone, yet you're telling me that you're busy? Lin Yan hissed coldly. End of chapter. You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.